Skyrim fans, this is Matt, continuing my week of Xbox downloads. So, the next game I'm going to record is obviously Skyrim. Now, this is not a first time play for me. I have Skyrim on my 360 and I've logged I don't know how many hundreds of hours on it. Several. Played it for about the better part of the last 10 years. And I have a certain way I like to play it, and although this isn't quite the exact same experience, it's about as close as I can get. Um, let's see. I'm gonna take you through kind of certain highlights, I guess. I don't know. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna end up, and I don't know exactly how long I'm gonna play, or where I'm gonna get through. But at the very beginning, at least I'll show you some of the little, I don't know, hacks or shortcuts or my little what I like to do type of things. Um, this game is essentially it has all of my DLCs, the stuff that I have for my Xbox, but it also has a few other things in it as well. It's got a survival mode, which has a certain a little bit of what they put into Fallout New Vegas, I believe, dealing with the temperature and other types of factors to make your gaming experience a little more, or attempt to be a little more realistic. And it has a couple other little DLCs that are available for the anniversary edition. It's all mentioned up there at the top of the screen. The Saints and Seducers, the rare curios, there's survival mode and fishing. That all of that stuff is going to be brand new for me because I haven't played this game yet. I went into a game, started it, and got my settings to where I wanted it to, like inverting my y-axis and adjusting some of the in-game stuff to where I want it. Hopefully the music in the background isn't ridiculously loud. I might still need to make some adjustments. Um, but I'm ready to start, so I'm just going to go ahead and get into this. Hopefully it still remembers all the options that I added or changed. Anybody who's never seen or played this game, all this is going to be new, and it's kind of I think it's really cool. It's got a really distinctive opening. Like most of the Elder Scroll games, you're going to start off as a prisoner or in jail of some kind. I can't do anything about the speed of this part of the game. It's going to play out the way it's going to play out, and I will explain when I save the game why I do where I do things to where I do them. This does look similar, but it's a little bit different than my the Xbox experience. I'm not really happy with this goofy ass angle of going down the hill. This is a little different than what it is on there. They keep you a little more parallel to the
hey, you
rack.
Finally awake.
The voice is not very loud.
Trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us, and that thief over there.
Damn you Stormcloaks. Skyrim was fine until you came along. Empire was nice and lazy. If they hadn't been looking for you, could have stolen that horse and been halfway to Hammerfell. You there, you and me, we shouldn't be here. It's these Stormcloaks the Empire wants.
We're all brothers and sisters in binds now, thief.
Shut up back there.
What's wrong with him, huh?
Watch your tongue. You're speaking to Ulfric Stormcloak, the true High King.
Ulfric? Jarl of Windhelm? You're the leader of the rebellion. But if they've captured you... Oh gods, where are they taking us?
I don't know where we're going, but Sovngarde awaits.
No, this can't be happening. This isn't happening.
Hey, what village are you from, horse thief?
Why do you care?
A Nord's last thoughts should be of home.
Rorikstead. I'm from Rorikstead.
General Tullius, sir. The headsman is waiting.
Good. Let's get this over with.
Sure. Mara, Dibella, Kinnarev, Akatosh, Divines, please help me.
Look at him. General Tullius, the military governor. And it looks like the Dalmor are with him. Damn elves. I bet they had something to do with this. This is Helgen. I used to be sweet on a girl from here. Wonder if Vilod is still making that mead with juniper berries mixed in. Funny. When I was a boy, imperial walls and towers used to make me feel so safe.
Who are they, Daddy? Where are they going?
We need to go inside, Wilco.
Why? I want to watch the soldiers.
Inside the house. Now.
Yes, Papa.
Get these prisoners out of the carts. Move it!
Why are we stopping?
Why do you think? End of the line. Let's go. Shouldn't keep the gods waiting for us.
No, wait! We're not rebels!
Face your death with some courage, thief.
You've got to tell them we weren't with you! This is a mistake!
Step towards the block when we call your name. One at a time.
Empire loves their damn lists.
Ulfric Stormcloak, Jarl of Windhelm.
It has been an honor, Jarl Ulfric.
Ralof of Riverwood. Lokir of Rorikstead.
No! I'm not a rebel! You can't do this!
Halt!
You're not gonna kill me!
Archers! Anyone?
So, I like to save the game at this point for one simple reason. If you ever want to play the game again, this is the last point you have before you start building your character. And if you save the game here, then you'll never have to go through that cart ride into town. It saves you a couple of minutes. It is a slow little drive. I mean, it's nice for the story. It's great the first time you play it. But I always like to save one game right away here, and that way I'll always know that that is, I mean, it auto saves too, but I don't take any chances. I always make sure I have a nice hard save at the beginning where I can go back. I don't want anything to auto save over anything, and so that's where I've kind of gotten used to creating a save game point. There's also another point where in most of these Bethesda, Skyrim, and or I should say Elder Scrolls and Fallout games, where after you've created a character and you've gone through a period, a certain process, you go through a certain like introductory level type of thing, you'll get to a point where this is your last chance to change your character. Sometimes it's nice to save the game around there too, because then you can skip over all the initial stuff that you're doing, but because that also is usually a place where you can kind of just create a new character from scratch. But I always make sure I save the game here. That way, if I ever do want to play a new game and I accidentally oversave something, then I'm not going to have to go all the way back to the beginning of the little story part, because it's not all that important. But this is also a chance to go in and change settings if you need to change anything. Now, I've already inverted my y-axis. I am playing this on expert level because I have quite a bit of experience. No, I don't want to play on master or legendary. I want this to be a little less stressful than that. Playing it on novice or apprentice for me is way below my ability. I mean, adept and expert are fine. To be honest with you, I don't notice a lot of differences until you get to certain. It's going to take a little longer to kill certain people than it would if you were on a lighter level, but the game scales. So I also put a 15-minute save timer on it too. So every time I'm in a character menu, every 15 minutes, it'll do an auto save. Otherwise, it just auto saves on rests and waiting and travel. And sometimes, my experience on the console is you want to have as many saves as possible because you don't want to have to get a lockup. Now, I don't know whether the PC is going to lock up all that often, but like I said, my experience on consoles makes me a little paranoid. I don't know if I'm going to change any of these graphics. They're fine until I find something that isn't good. See, I've already turned this down pretty far. The music in game isn't very loud. The music in the opening window, because it's got the big Skyrim theme on it, is pretty intense. But the actual in-game music isn't very loud, so hopefully that isn't going to be too distracting. I think that's all fine. So none of these are highlighted, but I'm sure, I don't know, maybe they aren't on here, but if they are, yeah, I'm familiar with Dawnguard, Dragonborn, and Hearthfire for sure. The other stuff is all new to me, so if it's not in here, then it's not in here, but
Running.
Wait. You there. Step forward. Who are you?
so then we get into character creation. You can choose one of the base races of the game. One of my, I don't want to say it's a complaint, but one of my, they do have certain slight racial adjustments, and that part of it's fine. But I will say that one of my issues with this game from previous Elder Scroll games, and specifically from Oblivion, and from really the Fallout games as well, is those games are all, they all utilize a certain ability score system. The one that they use in the Elder Scrolls games is based on, or it's very similar to, if it's not based on, the one that's used in Fallout. With the special thing, the strength, perception, endurance, so forth, it all spells out the word special. They don't call it that in Oblivion, but essentially this ability scores are a part of it, and it's the same ability scores. It's just they're not named out that like special. But anyway, the devs of this game took all that stuff out. They took out all of the ability score stuff. So every time you play this game, you're playing a character. Essentially, they have identical stats. It's always the same character. It looks different. He'll have slightly different abilities, and you'll develop him in a different way. So you're going to get different skills. But you know, if you no longer have a strength score, or an endurance score, or an agility score, or your perception isn't any different, then you really aren't any different than any of your other characters that you're playing. They're all kind of identical with just some minor cosmetic and tiny little ability differences. And that kind of ruffles me the wrong way, because I like to have those kinds of builds. I want to play a character that's like super strong in this game, or maybe I'll play one that's really weak and very charismatic or something like that. But they took all that out. It's all like classic role-playing game stuff. It goes back to D&D, it goes back to pretty much every other role-playing game in existence, and they just kind of scrapped all of that. They kept the whole skill, perk, trait thing, but they took out any of the authentic ability scores. So, as per typical for me, I generally, let's see, I want to jump over here. Let's see. They don't. Oh, here we are. I want to switch to sex first. I don't know why they start with race instead of sex, but that's the way they do it. I generally play female characters in the games that I play. Not really sure why. I guess it's because it's a certain feminist side of me. One of the great complaints is that, you know, all of the old games that you're always playing a male protagonist with a scruffy beard, and so many of the games that are story based are just a guy's perspective, and female lead characters are rare, or have traditionally been rare in games. So when I play it, if I have a choice, I usually play a female character. Still don't know who I want to play or what I want to play. Go straight up Nord. I always like playing orcs. I like working with the orcs. I don't usually play red guards. I've played quite a few wood elves. I like playing rogue characters. I tend to play, if you want to know my kind of player type, I am a stealth-based ranged fighter. I like utilizing my archery skill as much as I can, and my knife work. This game, it really is kind of OP to use stealth in this game. You can really get away with a lot. So unless they tweaked it for this version of it, Stealth is pretty awesome. So each of these characters, each of the races has a one little ability, and otherwise they have a slight bonus or certain base aspect to the game that'll like modify certain skills. You'll, you'll start off with a leg up in certain trees in terms of your abilities, but other than that, there's not really any difference. It's mostly cosmetic. And the special abilities that they give you are of really marginal use. They can be useful, but they tend to be useful more on the lower levels. And as you advance through the game, you're going to find yourself never using them. The automatic things, if they're resistant to stuff, that's helpful. That's nice. It's a little thing that you have on defense. But most of the there are some active abilities too. That's right. For instance, the Argonian has an ability they can breathe underwater. Just naturally, they can breathe underwater. Makes it simple. Any other character, you've got to rely on magical effects, spells, magic items to give you that ability to do that. The Breton's ability, Dragon Skin, has ability to absorb spells, but I find that to be almost useless. The Dunmer, the Dark Elves, they can surround themselves with their ancestors' wrath, can surround themselves in fire. It's a resistant to fire, but they also have the ability to basically create a slight damage, but it's so minor that it's not really that great. The resistance to fire is nice because you're going to have to deal with a lot of dragons, and not all the dragons use fire attacks, but your fair number of the ones you're going to encounter do, and so any kind of resistance to fire is nice. The Altmer, the kind of the high elves of the realm, they excel at magical spells, and they regenerate their magicka very quickly, but they're also more vulnerable to magic, which I think is a weird thing to pair up. But so they deal more damage, they more powerful spells, but they also are more resistant or more vulnerable to them. Imperials are great. The Imperials from the south, they're the cosmopolitan region of the realm in Cyrodiil. They have a tendency to find more coins, so whenever you're opening things and discovering stuff in chests and stuff, you're going to come across them more often. They also have the voice of the Emperor to calm an enemy, which I never use. Khajiit, they have the stealth side of them. They have a natural attack with their little claws. They have a little bonus for, if you really want to play a weaponless opponent and you want to run around using melee attacks, cats are the way to go. But if that was all they had, I probably would never play them. What I do like about them is they have the ability to see in the dark. What I don't like is that you have to turn it on and off. Unlike the Argonians who are underwater, they can just breathe underwater. The cats, you have to turn it on and off. It'll fade out, and it shouldn't do that. It should just be an automatic thing, but for some strange reason, they make you turn it on and turn it off. Or it automatically turns off after a certain length of time, I should say. Which doesn't seem very realistic to me, but it's kind of nice. The ability to see in the dark is not to be underestimated. It makes you less dependent upon torches. Nords, well, we are in Skyrim, and this is the land of the Nord. Their resistance to cold, they're strong warriors, and they have a battle cry that can make opponents flee. The battle cry can be very useful because if you're fighting off against somebody and you're a little overwhelmed, just temporarily being able to turn a few of your enemies away is nice. It can give you breathing room if you're like on the verge of death, but remembering that you have that ability and then using it is something that I usually have a hard time with. Like I said, most of these special abilities I don't find are particularly useful as a whole. Love playing the orcs. Again, they're powerful warriors, heavy armor, and they have a berserker rage, which is an ability that I find useful if you're engaged in combat. You can burn it, and I think it just does extra damage in fighting, I guess. Red Guard are also talented warriors. They have some natural resistance to poison, which is fine, but I just don't feel like I ever get poisoned that often, so The Adrenaline Rush, it's about as useful as the Orcs Rage. Gives you a little rush when you're in fighting, and it's a little easier to remember to use it. You know you're going to get into a fight, go ahead and kick it on, and The problem with your special abilities, for any of these essential abilities, is that they're only useful once per day. You trigger it, you use it, you're not going to have access to it for a full day. Now, that doesn't apply to the Khajiit's ability to see in the dark. I don't believe. The Voice of the Emperor, once a day. Their ability to regenerate magicka, I don't think that's a triggered ability, but if it is, it's only available once a day. If it's not an ability, then it wouldn't. Ancestor's Wrath is only once a day. Dragon Skin is once a day. And his skin, to regenerate their health very quickly, is once a day. But they don't have to worry about the breathing underwater. Breathing underwater is always on. And then there's the Wood Elves with their bonus to their ranged attacks. They have a natural resistance to poisons and diseases. So, okay. And they can command animals to fight for them, which again, I never use. Just having to be in the presence of wild animals makes it seem not all that useful. But you never know. It's more aesthetics than anything else. So I gotta think. The biggest decision you're gonna make in this game, at some point, you're gonna either choose to fight for the Stormcloaks and the rebellion to overthrow the Empire, or you're gonna choose to stay with the Empire and be loyal, and you know, both sides have their problems. Both sides have their issues. The Stormcloaks, although it seems like they're very patriotic and democratic, they want a independent they feel like the Empire is under the elves' authority, and they're basically just puppets to the elves. And they said, well, we're not going to stand for that. We're going to defy the elves. So they're absolutely at war with the Altmeri Dominion and their various agents. Unfortunately, the negative part of the side effect of the Stormcloaks is that they come off as racists because they feel like this Skyrim is for the Nords, and they believe all these other races should leave, and that they're so a lot of the other races find it hard to ally themselves with the Stormcloaks because they feel like they're racists. On the flip side, you have the Imperials. Well, the Imperials are puppets of the elves. They are. But they do have a sense of part of the greater empire in the history, and they want everybody, we're all part of the empire. So there's plenty of Nords that are fighting in the Imperial service. Just because you're playing a Nord doesn't mean you're automatically a Stormcloak. And likewise, just because you're an Imperial doesn't mean you're necessarily on the Empire side. You could be fighting for you might have lived and born and raised in Skyrim and had parents who were born and raised in Skyrim. Could have been here for generations. So, ethnically speaking, you could be an Altmer and be a Stormcloak. Who knows? The Empire, though, does come off a lot worse in terms of their leadership, and they're very, I don't know, it's very off-putting. Not quite as bad as Kaisar's Legion in Fallout New Vegas. They're about as horrible of a faction as ever created in a game. Oh, I don't know who do I want to be. I'll just be a Nord. Keep it simple. Okay, body. Got several different presets. You don't have to be big, blonde-haired Nord. Like I said, there's some wild Nords. Wicked paint. Could be bald shaven. Could have different paint. I'm not opposed to having more of a stock look. I can go in and make a lot of changes. See, it almost looks elven. Skin tone. If you spend a lot of time outdoors, you're going to get tan, but most Nords are not darker skinned. They tend to be on the pale, brighter side. Slightly toned would mean they'd spent more time under the sun, and weight, even the heaviest isn't very big. The body sizes in this thing are not vast and wide. Okay, complexion. A little wear and tear, wrinkles, a little bit of exposure. more exposure. Dirt and grime, and then of course you can color the dirt. I said she's been captured, but we'll keep her fairly clean. Fairly mild selection of scars across the face. This is one of those typical games where you can spend a lot of time customizing all these little things. The thing is, you're not going to spend a whole lot of time looking at the faces of these characters. You're going to be playing from their perspective in first person pretty much the whole game. As far as the facial paint goes, I usually find them to be pretty, wild. But of course, then there's also the color, and that can make them a little more or less subtle. I generally find that they look a little more barbaric, a little more, I don't know, unsettling. You go through a civilized town, you're not, you're wearing this war paint. It looks like you're a little more savage than the average person. I'm going to play this fairly wild path. I'm starting to think of a way I'm going to play. I think I'll take it this route. We'll see how it works. Again, you can change nose types. You can change the nose height and length. You can make extreme faces or make them fairly, atypical. I generally don't do a lot of coloration. It tends to be a little, especially with the neck. It starts to mismatch the color of their skin with the armor. Coloring is not as important. I think the shape, and it's got a little bit of a jaw sticking out. Not the jaw. Her nose is a little long, but I'm fine with that. She has a very angular face, but man, her lower jaw really sticks out a lot. There's no lip changes, are there? Cheeks, colors, and the jaw. Not the chin. Alright, eye shape is fine. Eye color, I always prefer green, so that's fine. Eye height is fine. Width, I'm picky about width, but that's pretty good there. I think if it's too close together or too wide apart, they looks really weird. But some people have a face that looks like that. Teach their own. Like a nice dark eyeshadow. Very. There we go. Nice. Very nice. Brow. Don't want to make her look Cro-Magnon. It's fine. It's kind of angular. That's good. Works for me. I want her lips to be a little more defined. I don't like that chin though. There we go. Mouth forward. You want to be able to see exactly what you're paying for here when you adjust these things. Chin width, I'm okay with her having a narrow chin. I think that's okay. Chin length, that's going to be, there we go, it's a little more, it's so defined. Chin forward, so far forward. There we go. Her lower jaw was sticking out way too far, I thought. Okay, lip color. Natural look, but that's fine. Okay, hair, wide range of hairstyles. Well, wide is in the old days this was considered a fairly wide selection. Now, if you've played any of the recent games that have character creation, you're going to see a lot more on the new games than in these old ones. If I was going to say anything, the hairstyles are fine on here, but they don't really have long hair. anything that goes down too long, it tends to interfere with the body sculpts and stuff, and the armor and stuff like that. So they tend to keep them about neck length. And that's fine. I mean, it'd be kind of nice to have some longer hairstyles, but that's okay. She's Nord, so I like anything that has some braids in it. Not sure I like all the extra handles on there. That's the one she had from the start. That's alright, I guess. It's kind of like, almost like a horn. That's fine. Hair color, I was already okay with that. Kind of soft brown. Could go raven. Or into the reddish tones. Or up to the white and blondes. I'm fine. I like that. And there we go. That's it. That's character creation. As simple as that, because there's no ability scores. Oh yes, I gotta give her a name. Nah, it's a little too Greco. I'm trying to think of. I'm so much better with male names. Female names are a little more struggle. Fiona works.
You picked a bad time to come home to Skyrim, Kinsman. Captain, what should we do? She's not on the list.
Good.
Forget the list.
Up and
She
down
goes to
is
the
a
block.
little tight, but it's
By
okay.
orders, Captain. I'm sorry. At least you'll die here, in your homeland. Follow the captain, prisoner.
Okay, now you got a little more stuff where you don't really have much control. So watch the story some
Ulfric
more.
Stormcloak. Some here in Helgen call you a hero, but a hero doesn't use a power like the voice to murder his king and usurp his throne. You started this war, plunged Skyrim into chaos, and now the Empire is going to put you down and restore the peace.
What was that?
It's nothing. Carry on.
Yes, General Tullius. Give them their last rites.
As we commend your souls to Aetherius, blessings of the 8 divines upon
For
you.
the love of Talos, shut up and let's get this over with.
Learn our... As you wish.
Fool. If you would have waited, you might not have gotten your head cut off.
Come on! I haven't got all morning.
He wasn't necessarily going to be the first one to get it cut, so he just volunteered himself to get his head cut.
My ancestors are smiling at me, Imperials. Can you say the same?
You Imperial bastards!
Justice!
Death to the Stormcloaks!
As fearless in death as he was in life.
Next, the Nord and the Rags.
Calling on me? See, what if I was the first one? They would have been
Did you hear that?
cut.
I said, next prisoner.
I
To
don't
the
want
block,
to.
prisoner. Nice and easy.
At least you could have done is moved his body out of the way. What the?
Oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
To the clouds!
Imagine!
Nice. So, oh. You're still tied up. If you are really interested in going through the story of this game, because I'm only gonna be playing this one time, so I am not gonna do the whole story thing with this game. I'm going to basically do whatever I just want to get into the game and not have to deal around with all this stuff. I'm gonna race through this whole first part as quickly as I can possibly do it, without being told to do everything. I already know what I'm doing. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So if you're interested in the story, there are some little storylines that go on here. So you have one Imperial and one Stormcloak, the guy that you came in on the thing, are both here trying to help you out. You have to kind of use which one you choose to go with. Me, I'm just going to race through it as fast as I can. There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on here. These guys are the dragon's going to swing down, he's going to grab people and drop them to their death. Then these guys have a little debate. Who are you going to go with? I'm going to go with the Stormcloak path. I'm still tied up. I still have a lot of my controls are not available yet. Can't even look at myself. I can't. I can save, but I don't have access to my inventory or abilities.
Like we're the only ones who made it.
So there's certain points where I have to that bottleneck, and I have to interact and then go on from there.
The harbingers of the end times.
Yeah. Untie my stuff.
We better get moving. Come here. Let me see if I can get those bindings off. There you go. May as well take Gunjar's gear. He won't be needing it anymore.
Gunjar. His armor.
All right. Get armor
So.
on and get that axe.
Okay, quest system.
I'm going to see if I can find some way out of here.
Where is... I'm still not seeing where I can switch to a third person. So here are your the different skills you can develop. I don't have any ability to increase these yet because I'm just starting the game. This is where I was mentioning about, depending on what race you start with, you're going to start with some of these developed. So if you notice, all these are basically 15, except for certain ones. Speech starts at 20, light armor is at 20, my one-handed is at 20, two-handed is at 25 because Nords like their big, heavy two-handed weapons. Block is at 20. They're combatants, so the combat skills are mostly, not all of them, but mostly are increased. They also prefer light armor to heavy. That's why the heavy armor is 15. Smithing is 20. But essentially all the magic things, all of the speech, well, speech is 20, but all the other things are essentially 15. So that's part of it.
Let's see about that.
Let's see, that's the skills. Now let's check out my items. I replaced my foot wraps with fur boots, and I have an iron axe, and I'm still wearing my rough skin tunic. And that's just more of the same. That's all of your stuff versus your weapons versus your armor. Down on the lower right, we're carrying 15, I guess you can call it pounds of stuff, and you can carry 300 total. I have no gold, and the red bar is your health. Then there's Magicka, blue. This is one thing I've never liked about this, is they automatically start you off knowing flames, a restoration spell, healing. You have your power, and then there's any active effects you currently have. Well, in this case, she has a resistance to frost because she's a Nord. 50% resistance to frost, that's pretty good. My problem is that you start off knowing 2 spells, automatically. You don't have a choice. I don't know why they just didn't give you maybe a scroll or something that had these on there if it was that important. If you really wanted to play a magical character, these are great. It's nice to have some starting spells, and one of them's an attack and one's a healing. So even if you can't find any healing things, I get it. You can heal yourself. It's fine. That's fine. But what if you want to play a character who hates magic? You're stuck with these two spells no matter what you do the rest of the game. You have Flame spell. You have a Restoration spell. But whatever. There we are. Trying to get my controls down. I can't get my camera to change.
No way
Let's
to
see.
open this from outside.
See, I can't even view myself from the front. I'm not going to play it in third person, but
Come on,
Imperials,
keep
take
moving.
cover.
Get this gate open.
oh, one other thing I wanted to do. Whoops. Is in Magicka powers, you want to tag your abilities that you actually want to use frequently into your favorites. See, if I hit the Y button, if you look in the lower left corner, there's a favorite button. And then you look back to where it says Battle Cry. Once I hit favorite, it's pinged on my favorites. You want to put your favorite spells, your favorite special abilities, because you're going to have, depending on which paths you take, you're going to have different kinds of special abilities based on who you are. For instance, you become a werewolf or you become a vampire. They're going to have abilities that you're going to have the ability to trigger or turn on. Of course, your powers and certain favorite spells. So that way, you can, I pushed up and there's my battle cry. So I can equip that.
This is now.
Just like that. Could take an Imperial sword if I want. I don't really want his armor. The other guy took off running because I did my shout. Some lettuce or cabbage. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, I'm not going to care so much about their I do like collecting those officer helmets. There's a key. More Imperial armor.
That's it. Come on, let's get out of here before the dragon brings the whole tower down on our heads.
Garlic. And dried frost miriam. There's some meats over here. Not really interested in that. I could have just run past these guys, but I'm stuck in the middle of it now. They're end up gonna kill me. I don't know where he's at. He's over here with his damn bow and arrow. Why don't you get involved in the fight here, buddy? There we go. Let him do some fighting. See, he's a powerful guy. I really don't care about all this stuff. I just want to get through this place. But there are some things I want to grab before I go through, so I'm not used to the... I don't know if the buttons are slightly different than what they are in the Xbox version, or if it's just my memory, because it's been a while. Take all. I feel like the buttons are keyed differently, but like just might just be me. Okay, get rid of that
Done.
stuff.
Let's get moving.
Yeah. Torture chamber. Another big fight.
It's blood. It's a torture room.
To the Empire.
Hear that?
Skyrim belongs to the North.
Take his hood. Read about the Dragonborn with that book.
What's your...
There's my lockpicks. Yeah, usually Y is take all. I swear Y is take all, but
No, I haven't seen him since the dragon showed him.
I'm also used to slightly different buttons. I swear the buttons are slightly different than what they are on my 360, but I can rekey them, I suppose, but I just... This game comes naturally to me, and I feel like every decision I'm making is slightly off because it's not flowing quite as well. I'm taking his hood, not because I want to be a mage, but because it is worth something. I always want to sell stuff. This I'm doing to gain experience. The one thing I like about the Elder Scrolls games, and my limited experience, yes, I played a lot of Oblivion, and then I've played a lot of this, is I learned really quickly in Oblivion, the more you use skills, the more you develop them. You'll see a little bar on the bottom of the screen, and that'll show you how far you've moved up, and when you reach the next level in that ability, it's all experience points. So you can go up a level quicker if you do that. The visibility on there is really nice. You can really see where those lockpicks are. And another book down there, History of the Empire, Volume 2. Might need to adjust my gamma. Finally, a lot of these games are just too light. I want to turn it down on the darkness level quite a bit. So even though I don't need anything that's in there, I'm triggering my lockpicking because I want that ability to go up. Boom. So my lockpicking goes up to 16. If you don't use a skill, it won't go up in ability. And if it doesn't go up, then you're not going to continue to go up on those trees. For me to go up to the next level on these trees, you have to attain a certain minimum level in the ability. So take all that, take the cash, and we're done. Ragged robes, skeletons have stuff that I want. Yeah, it's definitely a different button. I'll get used to it, I'm sure. They do have auto maps, which is cool. I was complaining about a game I was playing the other day that didn't have auto maps.
This way.
I said they've been around for a long time. Why wouldn't you want auto maps? I do not want to use this weapon. Nothing wrong with the war axe. It does the same amount of damage as the Imperial sword, I guess, but... Oh, and this is another area. See, I could ping these. So then when I push up, I can switch the weapons. You can also designate these. Oh, let's see how you do that. There you go. To set a certain 1 and 2 on here. I generally like to have one set as your primary melee weapon, and then once you get a bow and arrow or some other ranged weapon, set the other one as 2. That way you can quickly switch between your melee and ranged weapon just by hitting your directional arrows.
Just give the general some time.
Son of a...
The other thing you can do, you have 2 hands. I don't really want to equip that, so now I got flames in my left hand. See you guys. Yeah, because my action button should be the X button, not the A. Y should be get all, not X. It's like every one of them is just like 25 degrees off of what it should be. I mean, none of this is that great. A couple of coins here, a couple of coins there, but hey, I'm here, might as well grab it. Until I I come across something I'm completely unfamiliar with, I'm just going to run around and do the stuff I know. I can leave Bailoff, or whatever, Bailoff, back where he is, and I'm just going to keep on moving and zip my way through this whole cavern complex. I don't need to be trained into doing stuff. Shoot! Just thought of something though. I either gotta wait for him or I gotta go back because bows and arrows. I didn't loot those archers. They have bows and arrows. So I either need to wait for Rayloff to catch up or... Where's my jump? Where's my jump? Why? That's what I thought it was. Okay, I had to figure out my run button. Okay, I want to get bows and arrows, even though these aren't great bows and iron arrows are lousy. I want to have my ranged attack.
Let's see where this goes.
Dang it, I've got to get used to that. Okay, that's my special power. Holding down the left bumper button is run, which is going to use up stamina in the green in the lower corner. And you know what's ahead of you.
I hate those damn things. Many of the types, you know?
Some die all piled up in one spot. Not a lot of treasure in these this little opening cave system, but what's here I'll go grab. It's usually just a bunch of garbage. Iron mace. Now see, if you didn't have your bow and arrow, he'd give you one down here. Because you're going to try to sneak around a bear. You should always get the gold.
Hold up. There's a bear just ahead.
You can fight the bear. But I recommend just sneaking and moving around him. Because I'm going up in my skills, my level is getting closer and closer. Hopefully by the time I leave, I'll be ready to level up to level 1. To level 2. So you don't have to slowly grind your way through that entire thing. You can just run your way out. Okay, now here's where you get to choose. Return to survival mode. I love playing on the hardcore mode on Fallout New Vegas. I think without it, it's an incredibly dull and boring game. But it's just called something different. So now you need to eat, sleep, and stay warm. Additional challenges such as no fast travel, which I like. That makes it a little more challenge. Reduced carry weight, which sucks. And leveling up only when you sleep. Ooh. See the survival mode. I'm all for it.
Wait.
All for it.
There he goes. Looks like he's gone for good this time. No way to know if anyone else made it out alive. But this place is going to be swarming with Imperials soon enough. We better clear out of here. My sister,
The
Gerda,
graphics is
runs the mill
slightly
in
different.
Riverwood, just up the road. I'm sure she'd help you out. It's probably
brighter.
best if we split up. Good luck. I wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, you can
without
follow
your
that advice and go your own way and make your way down there and explore your own. Another good place to save the game, although it's an auto save coming out of there. I like to make a new save. So now when I go to load, where is, see, there's my auto save. See, it didn't, it auto save, it oversaved it. Why did it oversave my save point? That shouldn't be an autosave. I created a save. It's weird. Doesn't really matter. I'm not planning on it. I'm not going to have this game after 2 weeks anyway, so just explaining why I do things. So you can follow that advice and just kind of go off on your own, or make your own way to Helgen. I'm sorry, from Helgen to Riverwood? Riverside? You can just leave and go explore Skyrim on your own. You just left Helgen, and he says, hey, go visit my friends in Riverwood and we'll get you situated. I oftentimes go to Falkreath first, because if you have Hearthguard installed, you're going to get yourself a house out here. The quicker you can get Falkreath done, the better. The storyline, the main storyline of the game, is going to get you to Riverwood, and at Riverwood they're going to send you to Whiterun, and Whiterun's going to send you on a little adventure that's going to send you back to Riverwood. And you'll slowly make your way around, doing different tasks. If I really want to get crazy though, and just kind of say ignore the entire storyline, and this is my advice to a lot of players actually, yeah, if you want to just jump right in and experience everything, just follow the story and encounter stuff as you encounter them, and you get side quests, go after them whenever you feel like you have time, or you just want to try something different. The thing is, if you follow the storyline, you're going to encounter dragons pretty quickly, and then they're going to be an ever-present part of your game for the rest of the game. Dragons will occasionally try to attack the different hold capitals, as well as some of the smaller towns. And you'll encounter them out in the wilderness, and they will be a royal pain in the butt. My advice is you can get a lot of stuff done long before the dragons are even involved. And all of the dragon dens, if you will, around the map, you can actually find them all, loot the treasure that's there before they're there, and in a couple of instances you can encounter a different kind of encounter than when it's held by the dragon. Once you've kind of felt that up and dealt with all that and gotten all the kind of cool treasure and know where all the dragon nests are, then anytime you want, you can come back, go back to Whiterun and pick up on your storylines, which will eventually lead you to unlocking the dragons and having them back in part of your game. And you'll be at a much higher level, and you'll have a lot of really cool treasure, and you're going to have a lot of things mapped out. The longer you can go without bringing dragons into the game, the more you can get out of it with less stress. Now, at a certain point, dragons are nice, because you're going to have enough. They're worth a lot of experience to kill them and interact with them, and they have a lot of treasure and stuff like that. But once you kill a dragon, you realize how much stuff they have on them. It's going to weigh you out, and you're going to spend a lot more time going back and forth between a town and in your adventures, because you're going to get overloaded in a hurry if you decide to take all those dragon scales and dragon bones from their bodies. So in general, whether you choose to go to Riverwood or not is less important than whether or not you actually go to Whiterun too is fine. I would just recommend, before you go out to the watchtower, that is the triggering event, because that's the point of no return. Once you've gone out to the watchtower on the little assignment from Whiterun, dragons are going to forever be in your life. I don't know what I want to do. I kind of want to just go off on my own and do my own thing, but I will at least go with him to Riverwood.
Go to Windhelm and join the fight to free Skyrim.
He tells you to
true face of
join
the Empire here today. If anyone will know what the coming of the dragon means, it's Ulf.
So he's telling you to join the Stormcloaks. If you had decided with the Imperial Soldier, we'd be doing the exact same thing. We'd be going to Riverwood. But he's going to send you to a different set of friends, people who are loyal to the Empire, and this guy's going to send you to people who are loyal to the Stormcloaks. You know, they knew each other.
See that ruin
They
up
just,
there?
you know, this is the equivalent of
Falls
having
narrow.
good friends who
Never
are on the
understood how my
opposite
sister-
sides of the political spectrum. Okay, I'm hungry now. So this is a part of the survival mode. You wouldn't get this if you weren't playing with that. I have to eat food to reduce my hunger.
Or that.
I have to get used to my button stuff. Let's see, what do I have in my inventory? I didn't grab any food while I was in there. I didn't even think about it. Although eating these is good too because they're going to help me with... if you eat raw ingredients, you'll learn one of the... Look down there on the right side, there's 4 things that say unknown. This is an alchemical ingredient, and it has 4 different properties that you can combine with other similar properties to create magic potions. If you eat an alchemical ingredient, you'll learn the first ingredient. Continuing to eat more doesn't help you learn any more of them. It's always going to reveal the first one. If I choose to read this book, then I will have sparks in my inventory. Fine, I'll use it. Salt. Okay, that can have weakness to magic. None of this is probably helping me with my food problem, but... Torturer's Hood. Ooh, that's got an armor of 15. Didn't used to be able to loot that. It was attached to his head, so that's something new. Because in my version of the game, you can't take that hood off of him. See, the Novice Hood... Oh, I see it has a warmth factor too. That's cool. Only weighs 1. It's valued at 305. It increases my magicka by 30 points, whereas the Torturer's Hood offers 15 points in armor. And it's only valued at 10. So this is something I don't want to sell. Oh, something else you want to attach to your favorites. Magic potions, healing potions specifically. So you don't have to go digging them up or pausing the game like I am now and going in and digging them up. So you oftentimes want to have whatever your best healing potions are. Or if you have a lot of them, whatever you have a lot of. I could put on robes, but I don't want to be that kind of character. I've already got some things in my head of what I want this character to be. I do have some frostbite venom. I can attach that to my arrows or my sword. Go ahead and use that. Put it on my longbow. Frost Miriam, Elves Ear, Butterfly Wing, and Bone Meal. So my alchemy is going up, but some of these things are poisoning me, some of them are hurting me. None of them are food.
I guess you get used to it.
I need some proper food. It's a beautiful game. I don't notice a lot of the graphic upgrades. I'm not even sure. This is the enhanced edition, so yeah, the water is definitely different. Oh, one thing I do notice, because of my graphic settings, I have it set up so I can see a long ways away with a lot of detail. Ordinarily, the detail on that far of distance wouldn't be near that crisp.
3 of the 13 ancient standing
Thief
stones that
Stone,
dot Skyrim's
Mage
land.
Stone, Warrior Stone. Each of these are going to increase how quickly the skills in those 3 fields, how quickly you develop them. So if you take the Thieves Stone, for instance, it's going to help you with your sneaking, it's going to help you with your lockpicking, it's going to help you with your pickpocket skills, that kind of thing. It's going to level them up faster. There's 2 philosophies when it comes to the standing stones, because you're going to get this ability and you can only have one of them at a time. The 2 different philosophies. 1, I want to be a thief, so let's go choose the Thief Stone. That'll help my skills that I want to develop. Makes perfect sense, right? If I want to be a magic using character, I really want to get my spells to level up faster, then boom, I'm going to choose the Mage Stone, okay? That's the first philosophy. The second philosophy is, and this goes back to Oblivion even, you choose something that you're not going to use as often. Since I'm going to spend a lot of time sneaking and a lot of time using my bow, I don't really need help in that area. What I need help in is the stuff I don't use as often. So when I do use it, it levels up a little better. So either one of them are viable. The thing is that if you choose to do the thing that you use all the time, it's going to level up so fast that you're going to hit the ceiling a lot, and you're going to be stuck with this. You're just not going to be able to, it's going to be at 100%, and then what? So, trying to help an ability that's a little weaker, it's a viable strategy. I know I'm going to fight, but I'm not going to be a warrior. So, choosing this makes my combat skills go up faster. I'm going to be a stealthy character, and that's going to level up fine on its own. But it'd be nice if I could get my bow attacks to be improved or my sword fighting attacks to go up a little bit. If I choose stealth, they're not going to go up as fast. I'm not going to be in combat constantly, but when I am in combat, I want to get the most out of it. So I'm accepting the Warrior Stone as my ability, but I'm really playing a thief-like character. So I'm just explaining a little bit of the strategy behind it. Oh yeah, that water's a little more lush than it is on my Xbox. Still pretty much the same thing, but it's a little more vibrant. So this stairs right here is a good spot. I'll catch up to him in a second. There's a shrine up there that you'll want to encounter, so you're going to want to remember to come back here at some point. Notice in the water, you'll see fish coming up. That's salmon. If you want to get salmon roe, you can only get roe from these salmon that are jumping up into the water, and you have to grab them, and it's pretty hard to grab them. There's ways you can blast them with spells and kill a bunch of them at once, but leveled up. Apparently I can't level up though until I sleep, so that's interesting. He likes using his bow and arrow. I don't know where that third wolf went, because there was 3 of them, and he shot him, and he died. Yeah, why is... The key bindings are definitely not what they are in my Xbox. Because Y should put my weapons away, and it's not.
You decided to come with me. We're almost to Riverwood.
See, he told you we should split up, but then when you get to the outskirts, if you did run with him, he'll thank you for coming with him. I'm going to take you through this first part, and then I'm going to kind of go off on my own and do my own little thing. Because there's stuff I want to do in a certain way I want to do it. Uh-oh, I got fatigue. Can't grab it. I want my mushrooms.
Looks like nobody here knows what happened yet. Come on.
A dragon!
Gerd is probably working in her lumber mill.
What is it now, Mother?
It was as big as the mountain and black as night. It flew right over the barrel.
Another quick word of advice, little hacks in this game. You're going to want an axe. If you're going to be a ranged combatant, you're going to need arrows.
Brother,
If you want
Mama's
arrows, you
mercy,
need
it's
wood.
good
If you
to
want
see
wood,
you.
you need a woodcutter's
But
axe.
is it safe
They're
for you
heavy,
to be here?
but they're useful. You just go to a wood thing and use it. They can't let you use it unless you have a wood axe.
Now
Are you hurt? What's
And
happened?
this is one of the areas where you can get
And
one.
who's this? One of your comrades?
not a comrade yet, but a friend. I owe her my life. Is there somewhere we can talk? There's no telling when the news from Helgen will reach the Imperials.
I'm going through this because I want to access to their
You're right.
house.
Follow me. Todd, come here a minute. I need your help.
So anyway, this is one of the places where you can find one. There's always going to be an axe here. So you don't have to buy one
Todd,
in a
just
store.
come here.
Halo, what
Yeah, I
are you
don't have
doing
any
here?
materials.
I'll be right down.
You get some wood in your inventory from chopping the firewood, basically, and you go to one of those little things, you can make arrows.
Uncle Raylo,
Harvest,
can I see your axe?
harvest.
How many Imperials have you killed? Do you really know all
Warring
Stormcloaks?
ants.
Hush, Frodnar. This is no time for your games. Go and watch the South Road. Come find us if you see any Imperial soldiers coming.
Aw, Mama. I want to stay and talk with Uncle Raylo.
Look at you. Almost a grown man. Won't be long before you'll be joining the fight yourself.
That's right. Don't worry, Uncle Raylo. I won't let those soldiers sneak up on you.
Now, Raylo, what's going on? You two look pretty well done in. I can't remember when I last slept. Where to start? Well, the news you heard about Ulfric was true. The Imperials ambushed us outside Darkwater Crossing. Like they knew exactly where we'd be. That was 2 days ago now.
Darkwater
We
Crossing.
stopped in
That's a
Helgen
strange
this morning.
place to be attacked.
And I thought it was all over. Had us lined up to the headsman's block and ready to start chopping.
The cowards.
They wouldn't dare give Ulfric a fair trial.
I see.
Treason for fighting for your own
Ordinarily, once your magicka and stamina heals back up, it disappears. But you notice there's a little red on there. That's because I'm hungry, and one of them's because I'm
You don't
fatigued.
mean a real, live...
So I need sleep or need food.
And I was there.
So that's how they do it. They just kind of take off your maximum. It's a lot like State of Decay does that.
In the confusion, we managed to slip away. Are we really the first to make it to Riverwood?
Nobody else has come up the South Road today, as far as I know.
Good. Maybe we can lay up for a while. I hate to put the family in danger, but
Nonsense. You and your friend are welcome to stay here as long as you need to. Let me worry about the Imperials. Any friend of Raylov's is a friend of mine. Here's the key to the house. Stay as long as you like. If there is anything else you need, just let me know.
See, if you don't go through this, you won't get the key. If you don't get the key, then you can't enter their house, you know, when they're not there, or when it's locked or whatever like that. Plus, she gives you some stuff. There's food. And it looks like you're going to need food, because if you're going to get hungry, that's the thing. The food in this game, in the base normal version of the game, is kind of meh. It just offers you light healing and a few little magical perks, or magical, but you know, like ability things, bonuses and so forth. With the survival mode on means it puts a lot more importance on food, which means you're going to need to find food, and you're actually going to eat your food instead of storing it up in massive quantities like I usually do. That's probably your wedding ring. I don't need her ring. You can keep your ring.
There is something you could do for me. For all of us here. The Jarl needs to know if there's a dragon
So she
on the
sends you to
loose.
go there. I don't want to go
Riverwood is
there.
defenseless. We need to get word to Jarl Balgruuf in Whiterun to send whatever troops he can. If you'll do that for me, I'll be in your debt.
thanks, sister.
Okay.
I knew we could count on you.
I ought to get back to work before I missed, but did anyone else escape? Did Ulfric?
Don't worry.
So before I do anything else, I want to go get some wood chopped so I can create some arrows at some point. Can't rush this, unfortunately. It's one of the few things in the game you can't just rush. You can rush mining by just whacking away at it with your pickaxe, but you can't rush chopping wood. You have to do it slow and process. So there are two tools in the game, at least up to this point, unless they've added anything else, that do have a functional value. I don't think they've done anything with shovels, or maybe they have. Maybe you do. There are graves, maybe. I don't know. They do in Fallout. But in here you have the axe, chop wood. You're going to chop it 3 times, and you're going to get some firewood, basically. Which doesn't really have any other purpose. It's really heavy, it takes up space, but you want to convert it into arrows. If you're building a house, there might be some other uses for it, but for here, essentially all you're trying to do is create arrow stock. I'm just going to do this twice. I was mentioning tools. The other functioning tool in the game is your pickaxe. That will be your best friend. You are probably not going to carry around that 10-pound axe all the time. You'll find plenty of them out in the world. There's no real reason to carry around a 10-pound weapon. Okay. that is virtually it's a horrible weapon. It doesn't do squat for damage. Okay. Now that's the other thing you can use firewood for is improving your bows. So instead of 6 damage, I can increase it to 8. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Get out a third person. I'm still carrying around a bunch of firewood.
I'm glad to help any way I
Feindal here can train you
I'll show you
to
what
be
I
better in archery. If you get him as a follower, which requires you to do some favors for him, you get an added little, I'll just call it an exploit. So it's always going to cost you coins to get the training. If you have him as a follower, you can go into his inventory and take the money back and then pay him to train you. Now you can only train 5 times in all of your fields. You can only train 5 times between levels. So if I level up, great. I can train a few times, level up, and then train a few more times. The thing is, the expense gets higher and higher and higher the more you get training. Right now I can't even afford it because, as you can see, I only have 132 gold, and it's going to cost 200 to train. But there is an exploit. It's available. It's a well-known exploit. I think it's shady to take somebody's stuff and reuse it again and again and again. But I also don't think it's all that helpful, to be honest with you, because what you end up doing is as you develop your skill, like archery, it's going to increase your experience points overall, and it's going to cause your character level to go up as well. What you're going to end up doing is leveling up so fast that you're going to start encountering more powerful opponents when you go into a dungeon or in a town or whatnot. The thing is, you're leveling up faster than you're able to get better equipment. If you do things naturally, you're going to find or build or be able to purchase better weapons, better armor, better stuff. You're going to have better skill set all around to deal with the increased challenges. If you race your way up levels, you're going to be on the 20th level. You're going to have basically 2nd or 3rd level gear, and you're going to encounter 20th level creatures that are going to kick your butt because you have such lousy gear and you have such lousy abilities. So racing your way up the level is possible, but it's not really that useful unless you really just want to get to a certain stage. If you really want a certain spell or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and convert those leather skins. I'm going to use the workbench to improve my fur boots. All of this is improving skill. And then I'm going to use these forge. I don't have any iron ore. I don't have any iron ingots, and I can't take the ones that are over there on the ground. Dang it. Building materials. Okay, so yes, this Hearthfire is installed because you can build this stuff. So I know that I can confirm that. Here's the fishing rod. And cork bulb arrows, that's new. The fishing rod is a new thing. Okay, so that would be a 3rd tool. That is one of the little DLCs that's available on here. See, yeah, that's stealing. I can't take that stuff. I forgot, he is a merchant. Fishing pole. You can now fish in Skyrim and get different kinds of fish and make trophies out of them, I think. Maybe eat them, maybe sell them. I don't know. It's new. I haven't done it. At any, whatever particular forge, blacksmith you come across, not all of them, but almost all of them, the first time you encounter them, you have this chance to need any help around the forge, and they will tell you and give you an assignment to make make a iron dagger, make a leather, or make a wooden shield, and so forth. And then tells you how to improve it. I already know how to do all that stuff. It is useful, and you do get a little experience for doing the tasks, but I don't need it. And until you do it, every forge, or at least the ones that will train you, will have that on there. So you need any help around the forge? No, I don't want to deal with that. You can get information about this other stuff. It'll give you sometimes it'll get you side quests. But I'm just using him as a merchant.
Or deal some damage.
Okay. Generally speaking, I don't buy much from people because it's usually pretty expensive. Um, I will buy a pickaxe because I didn't find one out in the world, and I'm not gonna take a chance that I'm not gonna find one for a while. Once I leave and go off on my own, I'm on my own. um, Usually, I'm gonna kill somebody and I'm gonna find a better weapon. So why would I spend 300 points for a battle axe if I know I'm gonna find one out in the world? Um, Same with apparel. I have a plan in mind. I'm not gonna go and buy a bunch of stuff. Now, buying materials, that's a whole different thing. The one thing I will buy from blacksmiths, I will buy the raw iron and ingots and leather because I can turn around and use their forge and make it into something, then sell that thing back to him. But as you can see, I only have 117 gold, so I can't really afford a whole lot. I can afford the ore, but then I have to find a smelter to smelt it. I only want a couple of those because I need to. Whoops. Yeah, the button designation is not where I want it.
For a new blade?
Can't make any leather armor, can't make any jewelry, but now I should be able to make some arrows. Yes. I'm going to make those and those. So now I have plenty of iron arrows to get me through the times ahead. So I made friends with Girder, so I have access to Girder's house now. Oh, I'm not going to... I've got to change the key bindings on this because I'm hitting the A button and she's not jumping. That's because the key binding has it in Y. Yeah, that's going to drive me crazy. But I have to remember what the key bindings that I'm used to. I've played this game for so long that it's second nature, and I'm playing it now, and my instincts are to push this button, and it's not doing what I'd want it to do, so I know it's not correct. Cooking isn't new, but they do have new things because of all the new fish, so there's going to be new recipes. That's interesting. Doesn't look like I have anything I can actually cook based on what I have in my inventory, so I don't worry about that. Oh, you can make poisoned apples. Ooh. Good old cheese wheel. So you can take anything that says take. If you open up a container, anything that's not red, you can go ahead and take without worrying about stealing. You're not actually stealing. You're using stuff that's free access. Frostmirium. This is also the only place you can get these ingredients. You're not going to find any garlic out in the world. You're not going to find dried elf's ear, which is a kind of leaf or herb, and the frostmirium. This is the only place you can find these things. There are rabbits out there. You can kill rabbits, but you won't find any pheasants, or you will find chickens though, but you won't find any pheasants out in the world. So if you want any pheasant meat, this is the only place you're going to find them, is in kitchens that have this stuff. There's eggs, there's bread, so maybe I can make something now. Get some leeks, some taters, oops, some more garlic.
Keep your eyes open.
Let's see. For the most part though, almost every recipe requires salt. So until I get salt, I know I'm not going to be able to cook anything. Deer hide, a fishing rod, boom. Fishing rods were in the old version of the game. They just weren't functional. I want to read it, but I don't want to take it because some of these things have stuff. Now see, that says stealing. I can't take the potion of haggling because it's stealing. I can read that, put it back. I'm overloaded because I'm moving super slow. Ooh, there's a petty soul gem. It's not stealing.
I hope to see you in Windhelm. Good luck.
Alright. Oh, this must be the kids. Chest. Take the gold. Blacksmith apron. I need salt. Troll fat. Salt. One more try. Still nothing.
Make
Oh,
yourself
this
at home.
list is long. Oh, here we go. So I got 2 things of salt, so I could do 2 pheasant roasts, or I could do that. This is better. Potato soup heals 10 points of damage, 10 points of stamina, and 380 points of hunger. Sold. Gonna create 2 things of potato soup. Food. I'm gonna go ahead and eat the potato soup. Now it fills me up. I'm still fatigued though. I'm still overloaded. I really don't want to sleep in the middle of the day, but level up. Okay, well that's interesting because now they're forcing you to level up when you sleep. It's going to force you to sleep more often, for sure. But also getting your, I don't know if it affected my stamina. I think it was affecting my magicka. You need to have rest or you can't utilize your spells, or your spell power is going to go down the toilet. So, here's your 3 things. Magicka, health, and stamina. If you're going to use a lot of spells, you're going to need a lot of magicka. The health is going to help you, obviously, no matter what. The more health you have, the more hit points, the more damage you can sustain. I mean, stamina, in addition to your energy level for running and swimming and climbing and doing all the rest of that, it also has a bearing on your carrying weight. And the higher your stamina, the more it'll slightly adjust how much your maximum carrying capacity is. Again, unless they changed it. So all of them are important to a degree. Magicka is less important if you're not going to utilize spellcraft at all. But this is a game that is designed. It's not designed for you to play a single class. You're not playing a typical AD&D fighter or a thief or a magic user where that is your one profession. They want you to be a character that does it all. You're going to use stealth, you're going to use sword and sorcery fighting, you're going to use magic, you're going to use healing abilities, you're going to use social skills. They want you to develop everything, but you don't have to. You don't have to. So, I developed that one. Now my bows do 20% more damage. Now, I can't develop the next one until I get to level 30. Not my level, but my ability score. All of these ability scores are percentages. They go up to 100. So I got to get to 30 before I can get Eagle Eye. I got to get 30 before I can get Critical Shot. Once I have that, it'll require me to get 40 to get Steady Hand, 50 to get Power Shot, 50 to get Hunter's Discipline, 60 to get Ranger, or 70 to get Quick Shot. If I want Bullseye, I have to have all of these, because I have to have both Ranger and Quick Shot for me to get Bullseye. Now, if I don't care about Bullseye, then I can go one path or the other. Well, this one just draws your bow faster. It lets you whip it out and shoot. Ranger is ability to move faster with a drawn bow. Neither one of those are spectacular. Requiring more arrows from dead bodies can be nice, especially when you get to a higher level and you have more advanced arrows that are harder to replace. Arrows stagger, even though all but the largest opponents 50% of the time is pretty nice. The critical shot increasing is nice. It just makes that if you get a critical shot, it's going to do a little more damage. Or actually, it's a 10% chance of a critical shot to do extra damage. Most of the time, since I am a stealth ranged fighter, I get my overdraw maxed out as much as I can because it increases damage at each tier. I can't level this up again until it gets to 20. Not all of the things above, if you notice, that Steady Hand can be leveled twice, Critical Shot can be leveled up 3 times, Overdraw can be leveled up 5 times, Some things only can be chosen once because there's no reason to upgrade it because it's just a flat out ability. So Eagle Eye is great because you can zoom in, but Steady Hand, once you go into your target mode, it slows time down 25%. So it's a lot easier to hit moving targets because it slows everything down a bit. The equivalent of giving you like a really quick reaction time. But essentially, I'm looking for overdraw. Pairing up with that nicely is stealth. Let me find stealth. I should have gone the other way. Sneak. So with stealth, you're harder to detect, but you go up the backstab path. When you go backstab, when your sneak attacks with one-handed weapons now do 6 times damage. Sneak attack is basically an attack on anybody that doesn't know it's coming. Sleeping enemies, enemies that can't see you or detect you, it's pretty easy to do that. And it does deals. This is with any weapon, any one-handed weapon. Can't do a sneak attack with a two-handed battle axe or a double-handed sword, but a mace, a single-handed sword, a bow. Well, actually, bow's two-handed too, so that's not going to work. A dagger. It works for all those weapons. Does 6 times damage. Move it up to deadly aim at 40. Now your sneak attacks with bows do 3 times as much damage. This is where your stealth / ranged combat really becomes deadly. Now, the sneak attack only applies usually to the first strike, because once you've struck something, they know that you're out there, and the next time you hit them, they're going to see it coming, and it's not going to be a sneak attack anymore. But still, that first shot doing 3 times as much damage is oftentimes enough to kill somebody. And since you're here, might as well pick the Assassin's Blade. Sneak attacks with daggers do 15 times normal damage. Making a high-powered dagger one of the most deadly weapons in the game, not only because you can attack with it faster than any other weapon, meaning that you can deal maybe 2-3 strikes faster than somebody using one big weapon that does a lot of damage, and this is doing 15 times damage. Now again, it's a sneak attack, so if they know you're there, it's not that useful, but if they don't know you're there, whack, whack, whack. And you can usually, while you're sneak mode, like right now you have an eyeball on you because things know you're there. As my sneak skill becomes better and better, that eye is going to go away, and I'll be standing right next to somebody, and they're not going to see me. And I'll get my dagger out, and I'll just go whack, 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 and they'll be dead because they won't see it coming. I got to change the key bindings. It's going to drive me nuts. It's going to come at an inopportune moment. I want to do something, and it's going to be keyed to the wrong thing, and it's going to throw me off just enough, and I'll probably get killed because of it. So I'm going off on my own now. Before I leave, go to the Riverwood Trader.
Well, one of us has to do something.
They're having a conversation.
No. No
She's ticked off.
No theatrics, no
They've had a robbery. They're
Well,
looking
what are
for
you going to do
a
then,
golden
huh?
claw,
Let's
and they
hear
want
it.
you to retrieve it.
We are done talking about this. Oh.
They're Imperials, by the way. They
Sorry,
have
I had to
Imperial names. Imperial as the ethnicity, not Imperial loyalists.
Well, I don't know what you overheard, but the Riverwood Trader is still open. Feel free to shop. Yeah, we did have a bit of a break-in. We still have plenty to sell. Robbers were only after one thing. An ornament. Solid gold in the shape of a dragon's claw. You could? I've got some coin coming in from my last shipment. It's yours if you bring my claw back. Sooner you take a look.
Okay, if you haven't bought a pickaxe before now, you should get it here. But because you already have one, he's not going to be selling one, I don't think. Again, I don't usually buy stuff from them, but if you're doing the spell route, this is your first opportunity, usually, to buy some spell tomes. Spell tomes aren't cheap. As you can see, I only got 100 gold right now, so I can't afford any of these. But if you're taking the magic using route, you're probably going to sell off as much of your stuff as you can in order to get more powerful spells. Again, some of this stuff is very useful that he's selling if you're going to be building a house, but until you get there, it's not all that important. Selling off stuff is useful for a couple of reasons. One, get a little money in your pocket, even though if I was to look at this weapon in my inventory, it's going to have a certain value. It's going to be significantly more valuable until you get your bartering ability up. Most of the time, that value when you're in this window is going to be significantly lower. So, despite the fact some of the things that I have in my inventory says, "Oh, that thing's worth 100 some coins," when I tried to sell, see, like the novice robes, that was like 150 some value. But if you sell it to him, it's only worth 50. So that's fine. I don't really care. I'm not playing a magic user, and because I'm not, I usually like to take trophies, but in this case, I'm not going to deal with the trophies. I'm just trying to get rid of stuff that I don't need. It's going to weigh you down. That's the other reason why you want to sell stuff. So you want to sell things to get money, but you also want to sell stuff just to lighten your load, get it out of your inventory. You always want. Oh, I'm going to have to do that later. I don't really need another. I'll keep it for now since I sold a bunch of other stuff, but you always want to have your pickaxe in your shortcut thing, your favorites, because you're out in the wild. You just don't want to have to go into your inventory every time you want to utilize your pickaxe. So I'm going to go ahead and ping that. I'm going to ping the fishing rod too, only because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need it at some point. And the longbow.
Till next time.
Now, my dagger is my one designation. You only get two, unfortunately. This isn't like a game where you can designate 7 things in your inventory slots. I can either do the pickaxe or I can do the longbow. What do I want to do? It's in there. I can always just select it.
Plan.
She can take you to the edge of town, blah blah blah, but I don't care about all that. I'm just gonna go off on my own and not care. There's also an inn here. I could have slept there if you don't choose not to get here right away, but it'll cost you money. I think it's like 10 coins, something like that. 10 or 15, something like that. Forgot. Honey. I just want to get a little lay of the land. Like I said, this is like, I know this place like the back of my hand, but I'm still getting used to the key controls. It's like I'm playing on another person's console that likes to use different keys commands. Anyway, so that little quest that you got at the Riverwood Trader, you don't want to go do it now. You want to pair that up with the quest that you're going to get at Whiterun, because they're going to send you to the same place. So kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You don't want to have to do one quest and then have to go return back to the same place. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I mean you can go get one thing and finish out the whole dungeon and come back ready. I've already completed it. I've already found the thing you were going to send me for. So anyway, so that's Whiterun. That's how close we are. So it's not that far away. I'm not going to go there right now. I'm really not liking the keys. Okay, just gotta get used to it. And the second I get used to it, it's gonna mess me up the next time I play this game on my console. Ores. So, if I click A to mine the ore, it'll do just what it did, just what the axe did when I was at the chopping block. It's going to get the mining axe or pickaxe out of your inventory, and you're going to whack away on it until you get all the resources from it. That's slow and dull. Hard worker. So, take a look at this big tree trunk that fell down. There's a lot of these out in the world, but this specific one that is diagonal from Riverwood, take note that there's nothing in this. There's a camp over here across the river where I will pick up a map, a treasure map, and it will point you in its own way to that location, and there'll be a treasure in there. I just wanted to show you that there's nothing there right now. The treasures are not pre-seeded. They're not there from the beginning of the game. You can't discover them until you get the treasure map. Once you have the treasure map, then it puts them in the world. There are, what, 10? 12 of them?
You speak to a vigilant of Stendar. Yes. Our order was founded after the Oblivion Crisis. We dedicate
From
our
Oblivion.
lives to facing the threat of Daedra wherever they appear. We're quartered in the Hall of the Vigilant.
I'm gonna go there.
Keeper Carset heads Skyrim's branch of our order there, providing healing and justice as needed. He is the god of mercy, the patron of order and justice for all of Tamriel. We bring his compassion where none can be found, by cleansing all those who would offend his children. And any other abominations that prey on
Daedra
mortals,
are,
vampires,
for lack of a better
werewolves,
term,
witches.
their version of demons.
But the Daedra are the worst. Their callous disregard for our lives
Come
is
from another
abhorrent
plane.
in the eyes of the god of mercy.
But they also hunt undead and vampires and
The
other
vigil will be
things.
watching.
Anything that's unnatural, they pretty much attack. They're, for the most part, they're pretty good people, but the more Daedric quests you do, because you can do Daedric quests and get Daedric relics, they're not going to want to associate with you if you have a bunch of Daedric relics. Anus's cabin here.
I'm just a poor old woman, dear. No need to trouble yourself with me.
Mm-hmm. So, one of the things I want to do is visit the Hall of the Vigilant. Because it's on a timer, too.
It's not like my poaching is hurting anyone. The Jarl can hardly eat every day. There's enough for all of us if
Some
you
of
aren't
them
greedy.
trade, some don't. This one doesn't. So, if you don't want to mine it the way the game is designed, you can just come up to it and whack it with your pickaxe as a weapon, and it's nice and quick. 9 whacks, and you've tapped it out and got everything in your inventory. That's why I wanted to show you that part. In the water, you'll find fish. Unless they took them out, and maybe you can only get them now if you're using your fishing pole, but I don't know. Water is definitely a thing they've changed a little bit. You can usually find dragonflies as well near water. They like flying over water. Oop, I don't want to go there. Not quite yet. Don't mind using a little magic. Even if I'm not really playing a magical character. Did I overshoot? I did overshoot, didn't I? Oh yeah, I am way overshot. Way overshot where I wanted to go. Yeah. I want to come over here at some point. Didn't want to come over here quite this early. chest. Easy peasy. Okay. Can find my first unique named item right over here. So there's this woodcutter here. Yeah, I'm gonna take the armor. I don't need your boots. But next to him will be it's lying there. You just can't quite see it. The woodsman's friend. It's perhaps the worst named item in the game, but so it's a 14 damage iron battle axe. But I believe they said that it's slower than the normal battle axe, so it's less useful as a weapon than the standard iron battle axe, something like that. Unfortunately, now I'm overloaded. Let's see what I got here in my inventory. I definitely want to wear the armor though. So now I'm geared up. I can't. There we go. So now I got my fur armor and my hood. Works for me. What else do I got? Dump. That only weighs 1 pound. That won't save much throwing that away. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm carrying around a 10-pound axe. Is it really worth carrying it around? Oh, let's see. Poison my steel dagger. It only works for the next attack, but that's fine. Use that. Whatever. Eat a red apple. Drink some wine. My health is low. I gotta get healed up. There are all these bugs flying around in my face. Okay, more alchemical stuff. Might as well consume some more bugs and stuff. Chicken egg. Do not do this at home, folks. Don't just shoot, find random mushrooms in the forest and start popping them like they're pills. It's one way to end up in the hospital. Oh yes, I'm carrying all this damn firewood. That's part of the problem. Let's go ahead and drop all of that. Otherwise, I think I'm fine. I got a wooden bowl I don't need either. So this location is one of your home base locations at some point, but right now it's just a wild space. We'll come back here at some point. Let's see, give me Sophie pickaxe. I want to go to Fall Creek, but I'm not going there quite yet. The disadvantage of doing this. Sometimes you don't hit the metal. There we go. Not sure if they're friendly or not.
Don't tell the commander. I'm sure the food in your arse will take your mind off your troubles. This doesn't concern you, friend.
That's fine. Just passing through. These hills have a bunch of little iron mine, little ore spots.
I'm not kidding. I'll hurt you. Never should have done.
I knew that was going to end well. Why is it just him? mismatched. He's wearing Stormcloak armor, but an Imperial helmet. There's a attack. Steel dagger and steel arrows. That's an upgrade. Torch. Good stuff. For gauntlets. Good stuff.
If you know it, true sons and daughters of Skyrim.
Amulet of Stendar.
Tell them.
I get all these steel arrows because they're better than the iron arrows. I keep my furry friends.
Head to Windhelm.
Furry armor. I want all those torches.
Ulfric Stormcloak wants to see them.
Somebody's dinging in my ear. I don't know if anybody's on my Discord or not. Could do some hunting. Except I am not on the course I originally intended for myself. Okay, now we're up into the rocky area where we originally came out. Okay. My stamina is way... If you're ever curious about what effects you're under, it's under magic. So... cold and warm. Right now it's warm. Picking locks and picking pockets is easier. You're 10% more resistant to frost. That's interesting. Fatigue refreshed. Okay. Hunger, I'm peckish. So I'm suffering because I'm hungry. My total stamina is reduced. My attacks with weapons are less. And very less effective use of shields and sneaking. So that's part of my penalties. Fortify warmth. That's my ability. Reduce weapon skills. Oh, because of rock joint. Okay, that's the other thing. Various, mostly animals, but various, there are a lot of different diseases in the world, and one of them is rock joint. I guess it's kind of like arthritis, I guess. Certain kinds of animals, if you fight rats, if you fight wolves, if you fight spiders, I don't know. Different animals can carry different diseases, and this is one of them. You're going to need to go to a chapel or get some healing, specific healing. Healing your damage is not enough. You're going to need medical cure. Which means I should probably see what I have in my inventory because it's not good. Yep, none of those are going to help me. So I'm going to need some specific things. Cure some of my hunger problems. Alright, here's the road that goes north. This is another road that goes to Helgen. And that path goes to Falkreath, which is where I want to go, but I keep twisting my way around. There are some specific spots I want to visit. Already been there. Here we are. Oh, this is Ember Shard. I don't want to go to Ember Shard. Ember Shard's a great mine to go into. It's a great, good chance to get some experience, some stealth, fighting around in some caves, killing off some bandits. Good stuff. It's not what I wanted to do right now, though. And that's one of the locations you can go to get the. Actually, no, I'm going to a different spot. That's not the spot I originally mentioned before. There's a different one. Gonna have to go somewhere else, unfortunately. left, there's a camp with some bandits. That's where you can find the map, or it's one of the locations that will spawn the map of the little treasure chest. It's the number 1, I believe. But this is where I was looking for. The Shrine of Talos out in the woods. The Altmeri Dominion has made worship of Talos illegal because he's human. He was a mortal that ascended to godhood according to the Nords and those that believe. Of course, the elves deny any of it. I don't particularly like Talos's ability because all it does is allow you to shout more often, and right now I don't have any shouts. Hide bracers of minor alchemy. Okay. Dalmor orders. Just explaining some of the stuff about what they're doing. Because it's illegal. They attacked these worshippers out here in the wilderness, and at least one of them died in the process. Because here's a worshipper, and these were probably his flock, and another worshipper, another priest, and then the Altmeri Dominion came in, or the Thalmor, which is the armed extension of them, came in and attacked them because they're horrible people, or elves. I don't want to get hit with that hammer. Forgot about my flames. More importantly, you have to remember where these bodies are. And there's also an archer up there. Now, see, that thing's worth 110, but it weighs 25 damn pounds. Different fur armor. It's different than the one I'm currently wearing. Fur bracers. So I would love to sell that hammer, but I'm not going to carry around 25 pounds of hammer any more than I'm going to carry around 24 pounds to get this shield sold. I am on a very strict weight diet here because I am currently at 148 of 155. So carrying around excess armor is a no-no. Now I got to deal with the archer. Longbow. Treasure map, didn't I tell you? Okay, so let's look at the treasure map, shall we? That is under books. So, our location is in a log, a fallen tree technically, diagonally located from the town of, and I guess it says river, I can't really read it, it's kind of in cursive, but you know where it is, because I showed you where it was. Okay, elk, a black mage's robe, we'll go ahead and take that. Oh, they killed the fox too, you little bastards. Gold, lockpicks, all good stuff. Some seared fish. Food is going to become a lot more important in this game because of all this dietary problem stuff. So I'm going to get overloaded here briefly, but I'm going to use some stuff, throw some stuff away. Okay, here's a skill book. It's the first one we found. There are a number of these spread around, and they all have different titles, and they all do different things. This one, I didn't even catch that. It gave me a level up in something. It gives you 1 point level up in one of those abilities. Archery, heavy armor, one-handed weapons, whatever. So each one of them, there's like 10 for every, maybe even more than that, I'm not sure, for every one of the skills out in the world. So, oops, another thing. Don't need that. Kettle. Here's another thing you don't want to do if you're worried about your weight. You don't want to skin your wolf pelts into leather, because as a wolf pelt, it's lighter weight. Once you convert it to leather, it's heavier. Don't ask me why. It's better to keep the raw hides than it is to turn them into leather, because they gain weight magically, I guess. It's gonna drive me nuts if I don't change these things. Okay, so that's a book. Keys don't weigh anything, so I don't have to worry about that. Charcoal, don't need it, only weighs a pound. Go ahead and drop it. Got my torches, that's another thing I want to key. So when I'm in the caves and stuff like that, if I want a torch, I can just basically hit the twink, turns it on. Don't need this bowl, drop it, or the wooden plates, don't need those. See, wolf pelt is only 1 pound each. I can convert that wolf pelt into 2 pounds of leather. It makes no sense at all. Makes no sense at all. Okay, consume a few things here. Go ahead and eat that. I don't want to eat eat a large antler, but it's only 0.1 weight. There's no way in heck that big array of antlers is 0.1 pound. But that's beside the point. Okay, gonna go ahead and eat that because I also need healing. Okay, that is raw venison. That's not cooked. So you don't want to eat that. It'll make you sick. The pheasant breast. I don't think that... No, I took that off of a pheasant hanging. So that's also not cooked. Well, that's cooked. You can tell because it's got sear marks on it. Now I shouldn't be worried about hunger for a while. And let's eat some bread too while I'm at it. Carrying around a bunch of alcohol that I don't need. Let's go ahead and drop that. One thing healing. One of that. Go ahead and do that. Back to apparel. Block more with your shield with the amulet of Stendar. I don't have a shield, so that would be useless. Okay, I'm not wearing bracers right now, or gloves, so I can either do fur gauntlets or fur bracers. Bracers offer more armor and more warmth. I like the gloves, I like the look of the gloves, but since the bracers offer me a warmth value, I'm going to take it. Hide bracers are magical. They basically only affect your potion creation, and I'm not doing that right now, so... I'm not going to carry around that anymore either. Dropping that, even though it's only a pound. Weapons. Okay, I'm carrying too many weapons. What is the bow of choice? Should I use the longbow of 9, which has been upgraded? The hunting bow could be upgraded more. It can go up to 10 or 12 or whatever it is. But right now it's no better than the other one. It's actually heavier. I'll keep it because I can always upgrade it later and then replace the longbow with it. But I'm going to switch my arrows from iron arrows to steel because I do 10 damage to 8. Okay, what's my weight now? It's fine because I'm moving fast. Okay, so I visited those 2 locations. Now I want to go back. Good way to get rid of a lot of stamina potions is to have them preset to use them. Put them in your quick inventory thing, keybind them, and do running. Run and then just burn through them as you're running. I mentioned the salmon. I should probably show you what that is if I can figure it out. Where's my jump? Oh yes, my Y button. Almost got one. Got one. Okay, so I got a salmon there. Which got me that. But in addition to that, it got me salmon roe. If you go out into the open water and catch a salmon, all you're going to get is salmon. You're not going to get the roe. This is the only place you can get, well, not the only place. There are various streams that have the same setup, though, where the only place you can get them is the ones that are jumping in these waterfalls. I just jump backwards, that's all I'm doing. I'm jumping up the waterfall because that's humanly possible. And catching a few while I'm here. Just in case I want to do an alchemist build, you know. I want the ingredient. It's a rare ingredient, it's hard to find these things. It's not that it's particularly valuable in any way, it's just, it's the only place you can get them. Unless you find them in a merchant shop or something, they're selling them. But out in the world, that's where you get them. It's not why I was coming back here, but I figured since I crossed that spot, I'd go ahead and show that to you. Yes, you can hunt the little critters. You can go out there and kill them and get meat and so forth from them. They're great sources of hide. Hey, that wasn't here before. This is why you go to them, because look at all the stuff you get. Gemstones are great, because they are very, very lightweight and they are worth a lot of money. Yeah, if I take that to a merchant, I'm probably only going to get 40, maybe 50, possibly less than that, because my bargaining skill isn't set up, but still, it says it's worth 100 for 0.1 in weight. That's pretty outstanding. Ornichalcum, use that to make and improve orc weapons. Penny soul gem and a silver ring that is not worth much, but it's also lightweight. Jewelry and gemstones are the key treasures, really. In terms of your the cost weight ratio or value weight ratio, they're worth a lot of coin and they are not very heavy. Remember when I showed you the big Warhammer? The Warhammer's worth 100 coins, which is great. It's another ambush. I'm going to stay away from those guys because I don't feel like a fight. It's worth 100 coins, which is fantastic, but that thing weighs 25 pounds. Well, one of those little stones is worth 100 coins, and it's weighed at 0.1. So it's the ratio of what it's worth versus what its weight is far greater than what that Warhammer was. And if you're in a game like this where you want to loot as whatever you can and you want to get as much money from your treasure and stuff, those are just the questions you have to ask yourself. You're going to look at all the armor and weapons you're carrying and saying, okay, what's going to get me this, what's going to give me that, blah 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 blah. Now sometimes you're going to take something that's a little heavy because its flat selling rate is so high that it's worth carrying that really heavy thing because it's going to be a single payout. For instance, some things are very lightweight, like food. A lot of food and ingredients are very lightweight and on their own aren't worth much. But if you have a lot of it, it's worth quite a bit. But that means you have to sell, 100, 500, 1,000 of this particular ingredient to make the money that one piece of steel body armor can get you. So you're, even though the cost ratio is better for these little things, because you need to have so many of them, it kind of loses the value. So it just depends on, what you're going for. In general, most of the boots, most of the bracers, and a lot of the helmets that are in the game are not really worth taking. But there are some big chunks of body armor that are worth it because their flat out rate is high enough to make it. This is worth 350 or 600 or whatever coin. Yeah, it's 50 some pounds, but Nirnroot. Nirnroot is a very rare ingredient in Oblivion. Oblivion, there are like 100 of them or something like that out in the world, and they don't respawn. So they are very exclusive, and when you find one, you have it. You need it for a quest. I don't think it's 100, but there's 100 some of them in that map. And once you've harvested it, it doesn't come back. Well, in this game, they're more plentiful. They will respawn, so they're not quite as exclusive and impossible to find. But they're still a pretty good ingredient. It's the only plant you're going to have that's going to have an audio effect, letting you know where they are. So this is a great one. Stone, the Lady Stone. Her thing gives your health and stamina will regenerate faster. That's pretty good. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm still on the developmental side of my game. So I'm still more worried about killing bad guys than I am my health regeneration. My health regeneration would be good, but I'm trying to, or not, I said my combat abilities. What I meant was developing my combat abilities. I want to make sure that my fighting skills are going up in level faster, at least for a little bit. I wonder what these residents look like in this anniversary edition. See if they're even outside. So a pair of vampires live here. Friendly enough. They're over there at the mill. One of them's over at the mill. They mostly keep to themselves. I'm just curious what she looks like.
Here for work. Get an axe.
Very pale, glowing eyes. Her body is fine, but her head is incredibly pale.
A guest? Oh, we supply Falkreath to the south. Until recently, we supplied Helgen. Falkreath trades with the surrounding holds, and without our wood, they would have trouble keeping their prices low.
This is what I was saying about changing the color of your head. Look at where it meets her neck, and you see what the rest of her body. You don't mess around with the color of the head. It's just too weird.
We have guests as often as we can, but there aren't a lot of travelers these days.
She is a vampire. Bloody rags. Venison. I'm just trying to think of some of the little spots that I like to visit in this early game. This is a spot where you could have gotten a pickaxe without having to buy it first. And I am overloaded. See, this is why they definitely made this, the weight on this much lower. They said they were. I just wasn't sure how bad it was going to be. It's pretty bad. I'm at 156 pounds, which means anything I pick up is going to overload me. I need to worry about strength a lot more. Like carrying weight. I need to magically enhance some things. I'm gonna have to drop the gloves. If I'm not gonna wear them, I have to drop them. Everything else is worth selling or isn't that heavy. Arrows don't weigh. Well, they actually do weigh. Collectively, they weigh 0.1, or is it each? I think that's each. So having a lot of arrows is actually weighing me down too. Oh, stupid hunting bow. Alright, I'm carrying an extra steel dagger that I don't need. Drop that. Take that back. I forgot. I can equip that. Fighting with 2 daggers instead of 1. Although using the fire is probably better, but I don't really want to encounter the stuff that's down here. Used to having things. I can't tick my map up. No, I'm not gonna wait. I hate having to go into here to get a map. Why does it keep taking me to where I'm supposed to be going instead of where I'm at? That's annoying. Oh yeah, I'm way out of way out. Not where I want to be. This is where they've been busy chopping down trees. I'll get to Falkreath eventually. Way past where I thought I was. So what happens when you get on the wrong side of the river, you start traveling farther than you intended. Then you have to backtrack. Somebody else encountered a dragon, it looks like. Burnt to crisp. Got caught on fire there. I hate that my little directional arrow isn't giving me, isn't taking me to my map. Like I said, key bindings are driving me crazy. Not where I wanted. I gotta go to the map. Way too inland. What the hell is this? What is this shrine? That's only worth 50. I am not sure which shrine this is, because this is not the one I was looking for. Oh shoot, there's something down there. I can see it in red. I gotta keybind this. Okay. Yeah, I'm back by Helgen. I don't want to be at Helgen, but I'm not pinging on my map nonetheless. No, this is Cracked Tusk. Don't want to be there either. Technically, it's an orc camp, but it's not. They consider it a raider camp. The whole place is run by orcs, but they're orc raiders specifically, not orc tribals. I'm headed right to Falkreath. I am not where I'm supposed to be right now. I am traveling in the wrong direction. Somehow I overshot all of this. I kept thinking I was heading back in this direction, and I was curving my way down to Fall Creek. That's fine. I wanted to go to Fall Creek anyway. It's just not the itinerary I was expecting. I can't believe I overshot in backtracking to Falkreath. Despite the fact I have so many hours played of this game, I'm still getting myself lost. Falkreath Cemetery, we're here. Great place to find Nightshade. I'm going to take it now while I'm here, and if I need it later, hopefully it'll respawn. There! My diseases have been cured because I got the blessings of RK. Well, blessings of anything would have done the same thing.
Strangers like you bring war.
Was once like
Soon
us,
enough war.
bound to winding mortality. But he
There's a little story thing there I'm not ready to deal with. Couple daughter got mauled by a local who turned out to be a werewolf, and he's currently stewing in jail, and there's a whole Daedric quest attached to it if you're interested. And if you've played this game, you already know that because it's a fairly common, easy to find little quest.
Steel's good, but look, take a look.
He didn't offer to train me. I'm not buying anything. I'm selling fishing rods, 3 pounds. You know what? I don't need a fishing rod that badly. Arrows aren't worth anything, so selling them doesn't help. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the woodcutter's axe because it's weighing me down. Everything else in my weapons is fine. Armor, sell it.
See me at my forge if you need arms or armor.
Shoot, now I need the wood to improve my stupid hunting bow, and I just got rid of my axe. Well, there went the last of my leather. Fix that right now. Wolf pelts. Fox pelts. And deer hide. There, and get a couple straps while I'm at it. Okay, now all my armor is fine. Can make more armor. Can't. I just don't have any. I have to get to a forge to get my leather, or my iron smelted. Could get switch over to leather, but I don't want leather. I want to stick with furs. No jewelry. No building materials. Okay. I haven't got my letter for Falkreath yet, so I'm not going to mess around with that. It'll come sooner or later. Now, not every merchant buys and sells the same stuff. I'm going to go to the general goods store.
Let me know if you see anything you like.
He'll buy and sell more stuff.
Well met. Unlike my... Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
Sells a lot of stuff, but you're gonna you'll still have the same weapons and armor, but you're also gonna have the black mage robes, which I couldn't sell to the blacksmith. He is not interested in robes. This guy is. Also jewelry. Yeah, I don't really need the amulet of Stendar either, so I'm gonna sell that. I'm gonna sell the robes, sell the ring. Sell some of these potions, even though they're not really worth much. I can use those, they're poisons. Carrying a lot of food. I'm going to keep it only because I know I'm going to need it at some point. I'm going to keep my ingredients. I don't need the treasure map anymore. I can get... Oh, I forgot. So what I like to do with those treasure maps is you find the treasure map, then you find the chest that it goes with, and then I leave the treasure map in the chest. Just leave it there. That way, if I ever get out in the world again and I come across the thing, it's like, God, did I ever loot this thing? Open it up. Oh, the treasure map's in there. that tells me that I've already looted it. It'll be there until the end of time. The chest doesn't despawn, and neither does the thing. And you're never gonna. They don't respawn those maps out in the world either. So what I do is I usually take the map that led me to that treasure chest and just stick it inside, and it's dealt with. I'm gonna go ahead and sell the garnet. Gives me a little coin.
Steal anything from my shop and...
Yeah. You and your threats.
Can I get you something?
Nope. I don't want to go into the inn. I wanted to come over here, but after the merchant, I talked to the merchant, and I didn't talk to the merchant, so now I'm stuck over here.
Citizen?
This is gonna drive me nuts. No, I do want to go north. I don't want to go that way, though. I want to go this way. Okay, so that's Falkreath. I didn't visit the Jarl because I haven't gotten my note to tell me to come and visit the Jarl. I forgot that I had to wait for that. I don't have to. I can just show up at his door, but... North Shriekwin Basin. Nice little dungeon, which I'm not gonna go into right now. I'm not gonna steal you. Hunter's probably around here somewhere chasing some game. There he is. What's that Storgar, the traveling bard? He only travels on foot. Okay, we're back on the shores of the water. Silver ore. Knowing which towns have smelters is also going to be something you're going to want to remember fairly early on, because most of the towns don't have smelters, and smelters are the only places that you can convert that ore into ingots, and until it gets converted into ingots you can't use it to make weapons and armor. Whiterun has a smelter. Falkreath does not. Okay, we're back up here. That's where I wanted to be. The question is... Shoot! That's my once a day ability. I just used it unintentionally. Let me see here. Where I want to go. Actually, you know what? It's not that important. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to kill this guy next. Necromancers. Oh, I don't want those. Those are just weight. Just dead weight that aren't worth anything. So this place is just down the hill from that home location that you'll get from Falkreath, so it's a point of interest. It's a landmark. It's easy to find. Okay, let me see here. Where do I want to go? Yes, I know where I want to go. But what's the fastest way to get there? Going back to Whiterun. We're crossing over. Let's cross over. Okay. Taking a slightly longer route, but there are things under the water to be aware of too. There are sunken ships that have treasure. There are bases that are inundated, like this one. And there may be clams, barnacles, find those underwater. And that thing that's swishing around really fast, so there's a slaughterfish. They're nasty. You want to avoid those as much as you can. That's what the red dots are in the water. Nasty things. Not my concern. Keep pushing the wrong buttons. Let's see. Can't cook the uncooked meat. Or eat the uncooked meat. Ectoplasm. Poisonous nightshade. Barnacle. Flowers. Roe. Wheat. Check potions. Yeah, this is where having a horse comes in advantage. People who know that horses can climb over anything, but I hate having horses. They wander off. Not easy to have combat when you're on one of them. Pain in the ass. It's cold. Ooh, I got a little cold symbol up there. It's new. I'm wearing a bunch of furs. How cold can it be? Corundum. That's a key ingredient in making steel. Combine iron and corundum to make steel. Come on, get up into that pass. Don't have to go around. Inch up, inch up, inch up. Come on, baby. Not gonna work. You don't want to see what this looks like in third person. It'll blow your mind. Oh, speckles, man. Not used to that. Yep. I just got done eating. Gold and silver aren't useful for your weapon and armor manufacture, but they are useful for making jewelry. So, and jewelry is one of the things I said was a good thing to have in terms of your cost weight ratio. ratio. Alright, get into Whiterun Hold here. Here's the north side of that dungeon. Some cotton with a touch, feel of cotton. Okay, we are now in the plains of Whiterun, or thereabouts. I'm not exactly sure where the line of Falkreath is. It's probably along the mountain ridge. Wolfies. I don't want to fight wolfies the whole way over. There's all sorts of fun little things out in this world. I'm just trying to race through it. I can hear them. I usually don't fight solo. Oh, there's so many locations here I don't want to ping. And I don't want to fight a mammoth. Oh man, there's people up on the wall. I can see them from this far out. That's different. I'm cold. Reduces your total health. Represented by dark blah blah blah. Could also cause you to move more slowly. That's not good. Sun or snowflake icon near the compass indicates that you're getting warmer or colder. You can slow down how quickly you become cold by wearing armor with high warmth. Well, I'm already doing that. Eating hot soup and holding a torch. Okay. It's not going away. The target dummy up there. Here, crabs. Mr. Krabs. Rat, stupid skeever. Probably diseased again. Gotta cook some of this food. Okay. Listen, I am not gonna carry this thing. Nope, nope, nope. Magic. Do my best Emperor impersonation. Doran's Retreat, just pinging it on my map. A lot of locations. Stupid health. Bigger fish to fry. Damn skeever caught up to me. Yeah, you're hearing things. I'm not really here. Uh-oh. A horse who lost his rider. Well, he's a bandit. I don't feel bad for him. Now we travel in style. Unfortunately, we have to travel in third person. That was not something that's pre-designed. That was just a random thing that happens out in the world. Certain locations, there's random events, and that's a random event. Could go to Lorius's farm, ping that on the map too. Ping this on the map too. Elephant Graveyard. Well, this isn't the Elephant Graveyard, is it? It's just a place where poachers killed off a bunch of mammoths. Lorius's farm. This is actually in the Dawnstar's, the Pale, part of Dawnstar's territory, even though it's closer to Whiterun, because this farm supports Dawnstar. Not a pleasant farmer, but he's more perturbed because of this wackadoodle jester that's down here who needs help. It's an interesting little story, and it's got an interesting pathway, but I'm not going to do anything with it right this minute. Like I said, got bigger fish to fry. So, if you have the DLC, there's some stuff that happens in this game, and timing is of the essence. The Hall of the Vigilant. By the time you get to level, I don't know what it is, 5 or 7 or something like that, the place gets sacked by vampires. But spoiler. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I spoil that for you? That's if you have Dawnstar, the Dawnstar DLC installed. And I'm going in the wrong direction. I do not want to go to Dawnstar. Here we go. So it's important that you visit this place early, because the place gets sacked. If you show up later, it'll be gone, and there's some things in there that you can only get if you go there early. Granted, most of the stuff that's there that you want, you're gonna have to steal. So, do you really want to do it? Do you want to go down that path or not? Me, I'm playing a roguish archer, so yeah, I do kind of want to get it. Or at least attempt to get it. So to get to this place, you basically go from Whiterun into this northern direction, and there's a fort you have to circumnavigate, which is currently held by hostile bandits. Fort Dunstead. They'll shoot at you, attack you if you get too close, but I'm just going to ride right past it. See that shed that's in the map up there, that's where we're going. But yeah, to get there, you have to go around the little spur of this mountain. There we go. I'm getting tired. Unfortunately, when I get off this horse, the horse is going to take off instead of staying here in the stable like I want it to. Okay, how do I get off the horse? I pushed all the buttons. How do I get off the damn horse? I'm gonna have to get off it out here. Get off the dang horse! What is the deal? Jesus, it wouldn't let me get it off it when I was in there. Then the thing's gonna wander off. Won't let me tie it up to anything. Stupid piece of junk. Get back in the stable! Why do you think I put you in here? Oh, he's gonna wander off because it's a stupid ass horse.
Stendar's mercy be upon you, for the vigil has none to spare.
Walk always in the light, or we will drag you to it.
Bye, horse. It's the last time we're gonna see that horse. So here's the Hall of the Vigilant before it gets sacked. My eyes are getting very sleepy. I can tell it's getting foggy.
Stendar's mercy be upon you, for the vigil has none to spare. I am the keeper of the vigil here in Skyrim. We bring Stendar's mercy to the innocent. I'll gladly share my knowledge with you.
Costs 200. I just spent a ton of money that I don't really care to use, but whatever.
None. Stendar's mercy be upon you, for the vigil has none to spare.
The wolf pelt's fine, bone meal fine, but what's really important in here is this Daedra heart. Daedra hearts are not easy to find unless you fight a lot of demons.
The vigil of Stendar
So that's one thing you're going to want to steal. I need to get some sleep.
Stendar's mercy be upon the vigil
He
of
is
vigil has none to spare.
dying. So this place gets sacked and none of this stuff's going to be accessible for you. So if you're planning on stealing anything, this is when you want to do it. Can't sleep in their own beds. Tell me you got a bed I can sleep in.
Walk always in the light.
The mercy of Stendar does not extend to Daedra worshippers.
Oh, I can sleep here. Sweet! Can level up now. That sleep thing's not... That's nothing. It's not nothing. Okay, this time I'm going to take health. I got a perk to increase. I'll spend a lot more time sneaking. There's a lot of stuff in here to steal. Realize none of the stuff's going to be available to steal later on. Ah, here we go. First use of an alchemy lab. So right now I have the correct ingredients to make some things, but this is not useful things. So I'm going to do some experimentation instead by just putting random ingredients together and what previous knowledge I have of the game. It's a good way to get rid of a bunch of stuff too. So all we know what these things do are that one ingredient, the first trait that it has. So I know that this can be used to restore magicka, but what else can I combine it with to make it do something? That's where experimentation comes in. So I'm going to put those three together. It's probably going to be nothing. It wasn't. But if you know things that are that work together. I just discovered that Tundra Cotton also has resist magic. So I created a resist 4% of magic for 60 seconds. Nah, it's not what I'm looking for. Spider egg, skeever tail, and fly amanita. Nothing. How about butterfly wing, bone meal, resist fire, bone meal. Well, it damages stamina, so does the butterfly wing, so at least it's going to do a stamina drain. Now I combine it with a third ingredient to see if I can unlock something else. Boom. Fortify conjuration. So now this is where it gets weird, because now your conjuration spells last longer and you drain the target's stamina for 13 points. So it's giving you a bonus, but it's also hurting you. Those are unpleasant potions. Nightshade's a poison. Spider eggs and whitecaps. Damage, magic regeneration revealed from Nightshade and spider eggs. So, but all of that increases my, alchemy ability. Good for me. So those things are fine, and another thing you can do is see if it doesn't work. Nope. What is the ability to pick something up without grabbing it? Well, that's convenient. It's the same letter. Little trick you can do is you drag something into an area where you're not seen, then you can steal it and it won't be revealed. Okay, so besides the Daedra Heart, which is the real big reason why you want to be here,
or we will drag you to it.
I also want to get my blessing because I think I was sick. The other thing that's in here is easy to miss. It's this down the stairs. Open the door, down the stairs some more. Unfortunately, there's a person in here.
Stendar's mercy be upon you for the.
It's the 9. Heavy armor. Great. There's gold. She's going to be seeing whatever you do. Little map of Skyrim. There is all sorts of alchemical ingredients as well as potions. She'll see whatever you do, so you're probably not going to just flat out steal stuff. You can open up these chests as long as you don't take anything out of it. It's not considered stealing. But something like a giant's toe, which is a very useful thing, want to take that out of her line of sight. Squat, you're out of viewing range, then you steal it. Ice Wraith Teeth is really good too. Well, it's not like it's really good, but Glow Dust and Ice Wraith Teeth come from creatures that are dangerous. Cure Disease is pretty good too. I should probably take some of those. Then I won't have to rely on the
careful with that.
Little shrine things. But that's fine. Cure Poison too. Anyway, that stuff is here. If you choose not to interact, or you just forgot about it and all of a sudden you're going to be in any of the towns and you're going to hear, hey, did you hear that the vampires attacked the Vigil of Stendar? This whole place will be burnt out. The rooms will be blocked off. There will be some bodies here that you can loot and some assorted stuff, some books and things. But treasure chests, no, and you're not going to find a lot of worthy treasure. Just a handful of vampires and a handful of vigilants, and you can loot their bodies. But this is what's here now, so if you're going to take it now, because it won't be here later. That's really the only other thing you need to do in this game, I think, that's timely, that changes. Besides what I've already mentioned, there are a handful of dragon dens that if you encounter them before the dragons are awakened, you'll encounter something very different than if you visit them once the dragon is awoke. Giant camp. Giants aren't friendly. They really just don't want you to mess around with their stuff. They're being attacked right now. That red dot is a wolf or something. See, there's a treasure chest in that thing I'd like to get, but you approach these guys and they get a little ornery. See? He's not attacking you, he's just threatening you. Get away, or I'm gonna go after you. And if you're not at a high enough level, giants are not something you want to mess with. They do a lot of damage. They're slow moving, but they cover a lot of ground. Those strides of theirs are very long, so it looks like they're just plodding along. But they are right up in your grill in a hurry. There's a Debellan statue up there. Silver ring. That's worth 160. Good deal. Must have bitten somebody's finger. Oh, and he's got one too, but it's not as worth as much. So that statue up there is pretty good. That's another shrine. One from Debella, if you're interested in the Debellan faith. They're horny buggers. Their version of a goddess of love and sex and hedonistic pleasures. Just gotta come up here and ping Dawnstar on the map. So they took fast travel off of here, but I imagine they still have the carriages. Not that it matters here. Dawnstar doesn't have carriage, but some of the towns do. Dawnstar is currently under a curse, so there's only so much you can do here. They do have a grindstone. They have one of the worst blacksmiths of the hold capitals, the ones that have a blacksmith but isn't worth it, because he doesn't have all the tools. He's got the basics. He's got the tanning rack, and up there's the stone, and he's got the blacksmith forge, but he doesn't have a workbench. So you can't build armor and stuff.
Divine sakes, who do you think was threatening?
But this hold capital has two smelters. Not one, two of them. Only 2 towns have 2 smelters in them. This place and Markarth. Everybody else is limited to 1. Here we go, smelting. So I can smelt corundum ingots, or I can combine corundum with iron, one of each, to create steel.
Isn't he your husband?
See?
No, he isn't. He's the enemy, and we are going to crush him.
I'm just gonna do one.
How could my life get worse?
You need corundum ingots to improve steel things. Steel weapons, steel armor, they require not steel, but they require corundum. Yeah, that's a lot of iron.
Can't sleep well, no matter.
There's also 2 full mines in this town. So if you want to go down and do some mining and get a bunch of, basically a concentrated number of ores,
yes.
You can get a lot of that stuff done. Their blacksmith's okay, but it's just the fact that if you have armor and stuff.
Seems like no one is getting nightmares.
We're near a forge, that's why the heat, now we're hot. Who's in charge of this forge?
Our son or daughter isn't going to get much Redguard culture here in Skyrim. I know my wife worries how she will pass along her traditions.
See, he's Nord.
Hey, if you find a book called Night Falls on Sentinel, could you bring it to me? It's
Side
a
quest.
story from my wife's people. Be good to have. Good on you. The finest weapons and armor.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to sell you. Get rid of these embalming tools. I don't even care if they're worth anything. I just want to get rid of them.
Come back if you need steel.
She's Redguard. So his wife is Redguard, but he's Nord. There's a lot of little side quests you can ping. You can, these bickering spouses, each one of them owns the different mine. And so here's the other mine you can go in, and the other smelter. Then there's the ship that's harbored here.
Staying safe, I hope.
Talk to the captain of the ship.
Everyone thinks I'm too young to be a ship's captain. I don't buy all that talk. By inheritance, as my men are fond of saying. Can't blame them. My mother ran the Sea Squall as strictly as she ran the house. I've been trying to find new areas of business, trying to win the sailors' respect, but I keep having problems. Take the last trade we did. Some fine cut void salts from the College of Winterhold. Plenty of coin if you know who to sell it to. Sailors are what happened to them. They got drunk and ended up losing the merchandise in some cave. If you're not afraid of a little exploring, I'll pay good gold to get those salts. Until next time.
Just another side quest. Another point of to note. Zoom back. Can't zoom back any more than this. The hold capitals are all marked with a shield. They're not designated the major and the minor ones, but there are major and minor ones in this game. The 5 major capitals: Solitude, Markarth, Whiterun, Riften, and Windhelm all have a carriage outside of the city. The carriage can take you to not only any of those locations, but any of the minor holds as well. The only other carriages that are in the game are the ones that you get at the houses you build, and those can be used to take you to a few more places. But if you visit, like, the Windhelm, outside of Windhelm, and the carriage that's there, he can, for a certain price, he can take you to any of the hold capitals. Of course, only the 5 major ones also have a carriage there, so if you intend to visit multiple ones, you want to go to the major ones. The minor ones don't have one. The minor ones also don't have they're not fortified, they don't have a separate area, they're all open like Dawnstar here. It's just, you just walk right into town, there's no fence or wall or of any kind to protect them. Some of them have a partial wall, but most of these are just kind of open. These are the minor holds.
I could run this ship better than that boy who calls himself a captain.
The reason why I'm mentioning it... Ooh, chilly. Now I'm freezing cold. There's also ones that have these...
I can take you to any port on the coast. All right, then.
By boat. Same kind of thing. But except these are traveling by boat. So there's one here at Dawnstar. There is one on the outskirts of Solitude, down by the water area. There should be one at Morthal, but I don't think there is. Actually, I don't think there is, but they really should be, because they're basically, their whole town is on water. Winterhold does not have one. Winterhold is far up. They're not like down on the shore. They're up on the cliffside. There's not really much there. But there is one at Windhelm as well. So if you want to fast travel between these different locations, you can use the water transport. Riften is also on water, but I don't believe that they have any kind of one because of the rivers. They're on a highland area, and their rivers are connected up to the lower areas, but they're on humongous waterfalls. So it would be less than pointless to have them have a river transport. Same with Whiterun has a little river, but so does Riverwood, but it's not a navigable river. There's a lot of rapids, and it's not something you can take a boat on. But anyway, that is a way you can do fast travel. Yep, I don't need anything here, so I'm going to
Hey,
use him.
Good morning.
It will cost me some money.
Where are you headed?
Yep, so he can take you to Solitude or Windhelm. I was thinking about going to Windhelm, but now that I'm thinking about it, Solitude might be better. I've already used Forge. Both of them have triggering stories, just like Whiterun, just like Markarth. Riften has a bunch of little things. It doesn't have a big arching story that connects up, but there is one there as well too. Oh, where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? I want to go to Markarth, but I guess the best place to go, the quickest way would be to go
Climb
to
on in the boat
Solitude.
and get comfortable.
Since there is no fast travel in this game, you're going to utilize these things. That's the only reason why I'm even mentioning it. If you're playing just the base game without the survival thing on there, then you can fast travel to any location you've already visited. So you don't have to go through this. So this is Solitude. That's the Blue Palace up there where the Jarl, or in this case the Jarl's wife, is living. But the whole city is built up on this ridge. This is the East Empire Company warehouse. Is behind these big doors.
Citizen.
You're not welcome in there, but if you use some stealth, there's some awesome treasure in there, including some very rare clothing. Knowing where certain things are located, just proving that I am not an idiot and I know where certain things are located. I could fly through that warehouse and find some stuff, but my stealth abilities aren't exactly developed. This is going to be a long video when I post it, but it's going to be a one-off. I don't see myself downloading this game from Steam unless I really feel an itch, or if my PlayStation goes kaput completely. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Look at those red bars. This is horrible. I'm drained. So there's Catless Farm. Just pinging that. Is she a fence? I think there's a fence there or something. So here is the wagon that I mentioned. So if you talk to this guy, there's only two things that these guys are useful for. One, he'll tell you a little bit about the town that you're at, and two, you can hire him. Now look at the prices on these. Markarth, Riften, actually these are all 20, so that's not too bad. He doesn't take you to every one of them though, does he? He's just taking you to the major capitals. Ooh. Interesting.
That's
so in the full version without the survival stuff turned on, they'll take you to any of the capitals because they'll just dump you off there. So it's going to make it a little harder to transport to the smaller holds. Oh. That's interesting.
If you've come to Solitude to join the
Shoot! Totally forgot while I was in Dawnstar. I could have checked and see if I could find the little exploit. I know it works in the console. Does it work here too? I'm trying to steal the Khajiit's treasures. It's very easy to find it in Dawnstar, but the one that's here has always been elusive. I don't know if it works. It works on the consoles. Oh, I know you're here somewhere. I'm trying to get an image here in my head. The tent should be right about here. It should be right in here somewhere. Maybe they fixed it. They took it out, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say because I have a hard time finding this one on my best day. It's very easy to find the one that's in Dawnstar. It's very easy to find the one in Markarth. But the one that's here is a little trickier. Dang it all, I don't want to go in here, because if I go in here, it's going to trigger the whole guy getting his head chopped off, and I don't want to have to deal with that. I was hoping to use... Oh, actually, I can go to Markarth. Oh, yes, that's what I'll do. So, I don't know if the exploit's there, so won't worry about that. Spend another 20 coins to go to Markarth. At some point, I gotta sleep. Which means I need to find an inn.
Where do you want to go?
I want to go to Markarth.
Climb and back, and we'll be off. Ever been to Markarth? Some say it was
I
built
think
by
you'd
the
be able to
dwarves.
sleep in the wagon.
Can take you to any of the whole.
Although you wouldn't want to be attacked by raiders. Yeah, that's not a good sound. I need real food. I need to cook some stuff. My stomach's rumbling. Juniper berries.
What happened to you, Khan? The Forsworn have taken Kolskager mine. We're the only ones left.
Side quest.
You two head inside and get some rest. I'll send word to the Jarl.
Are you alright?
Still shaking from all the fighting, my friend. It's been too long since I had to kill someone.
Well, I'm glad you were there.
So I mentioned that the whole thing with the dragons, you don't want to trigger it too early, otherwise it kind of overtakes the game. You're gonna have to deal with them constantly. Well, not constantly, but periodically you're gonna have to deal with dragons. They're gonna be out in the world. They're gonna be dangerous. And you're gonna have to deal with them. If you have all the DLCs installed, the other thing you have to worry about are vampires. You don't have to worry about them right away, but they will at some point start attacking towns when you show up. And they will kill NPCs, including ones that are important to you. There are some unkillable NPCs, but for the most part, most of the people that they attack are kind of people you don't want to lose. Merchants, etc. Well, this is just like the console. Every once in a while you'll get the camp for the Khajiit, but the Khajiit won't be here. Other times you'll get Khajiit and then the camp won't be here. It's a glitch. Or they're just not arrived yet, I don't know. Okay, maybe they fixed... Nope. They did not fix the... Because there it is. This is... It's a stupid-ass cheat. But it's nice. So this is the Khajiit... one of the Khajiit caravans inventories of the stuff that they will sell you. Well, you can go ahead and take all this stuff out, but most of this stuff isn't worth that much. But I could get this and replace my mundane weapons and stuff. But here's the thing. I can't improve magical weapons yet. I don't have that ability. So I can actually probably improve mundane stuff and make it do more damage than some of the magical stuff. Clothing, lots of generic stuff, nothing. Ooh. Oh, this is one of those Coda flower. Oh, I was thinking it was a relic, but I think it's just another ingredient. I wonder where they get that from. I'm taking it. Cork bulb root. A fishing map of the rift. Okay, this must have to do with the whole fishing thing. And one for Winterhold. Flame stalk. Okay, I don't know what that is. Take the gems. Goat hide is important, but not that important. I'll let them keep their money. If you take the money, then they won't be able to buy your stuff. So I always make sure they keep their money. I do make sure I get grand soul gems, some of the more powerful soul gems, because those are actually useful and they're really expensive to... They're not the easiest thing to charge up, for one thing, but you don't want to have to buy them. They're just too expensive. If I was getting ready to build a house, I would be getting a lot more stuff here, but moon sugar. I burnt through most of my healing potions, or a lot of them anyway. Saints and Seducers, that's another expansion. What's... I'm about to read that. Skooma. Take the steel. Bunch more potions. Cork bulb arrows. I don't know what the connection is with that cork bulb. Hide boots of frost resistance. Studded minor health. Studded armor, minor health. I don't want to wear studded. I want to wear my furs. So, it wasn't great. Usually there's pretty good magic weapons, and there obviously weren't that many good ones in there. What really ticks me off is that they're supposed to be here, and I should have merchants to talk to, and they're not here. Now I'm overweight, and I can't trade. I could wait. I just wait here long enough, they'll show up. Can't sleep on it, because they're all owned. Exhaustion be a part of this game, then they really need you to have a sleeping roll that you can carry with you. And I don't know if they've done that or not. But to have exhaustion be a thing. See, in Fallout, you can turn it on in Fallout New Vegas. But they provide a lot of places for you to sleep. This thing, their ownership is a pain in the butt. Great. How much am I overweight? Quite a bit. There's another trick you can do if you want to keep moving fast. It's not going to be helpful for me, unfortunately. Usually it's because you have a big chunk of armor or some giant-ass weapon that you're carrying around. I get about 20 pounds. 20 pounds of crap is all that is. I'm not even going to use this stupid thing. So I drop it. Oh, I'm still overweight, even with 20 pounds. I'm still 15 pounds overweight. Oh, crap. Alright, well, next up, let's see if there's anything else I can eat. I'm not eating the giant toe, even though it is heavy. Not eating that either, it's too valuable. I paralyzed myself with something that I ate.
Shouldn't leave weapons laying around.
I'm not.
And if I see you do it again, that someone will be you.
I'm not leaving it around, jerk.
See that it doesn't happen again.
What I was going to do is pick it up like this and carry it. Because if this would be enough for me to move at full speed, then it's great. Because I can just artificially carry something along and
be a lot warmer and a lot happier with a belly full of meat.
It didn't help me because I'm still overweight. But if you had a 25-pound thing of body armor or a big heavy weapon, and that's all, and if taking that out of your inventory would give you full speed again, then you can use that little exploit to move at high speed or your normal speed, while technically carrying it, even though it's not in your inventory anymore. Thing is, if you move too fast, it's possible that it'll clip out of your environment.
What do you need?
It'll kind of drop and be a problem. Markarth guards.
Let me guess. Someone stole your sweet roll.
This is the outskirts of Markarth. Technically, we're not in Markarth, but I need a bed. I need some place to lay down, or I'm gonna fall down from exhaustion. That didn't work. Let's weapon. Pickaxe. That didn't work. Let's see if I have another weapon that might. Nope. That is super slow. Nope. If you have certain weapons, if you use your power swing, it can help you move forward a little faster because you like do a lunge. This isn't one of them that'll work though. Trying to find little exploits that'll let you move faster. I mean, I could just drop some more stuff, but I don't want to drop more stuff. Dropped enough stuff, dang it. Son of a buck. So heavy. Worse is I don't want to go into the city gates because I'm going to need my speed. Oh, I didn't read these. Okay, so those are fishing locations in the rift. And fishing locations out in the ocean near Winterhold. Rough like idea where they are. Interesting. Saints and seducers. Dealing with the Shivering Isles. Okay. I'll have to read this, find out what its tie-in with this story, because this is definitely related to that little DLC. Oh, here I thought that thing was going to give me a bonus, but it's also probably tied with that story. £18 of iron ingots. 26 pounds of leather. Just a little bit faster if you're aiming than if you're not. Just a tiny little bit of a boost. Surge forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up into the walls here.
This is Markarth, traveler. Safest city in the Reach.
And up here, there are some things that I can store my excess weight in. Not there. Because I don't want to go into the city overloaded the way I am. There's a workbench too. Sweet. barrels here I can store stuff in. Stuff's not exactly safe. It'll probably vanish after a while. But for the time being, £1 under. £1 under is not ideal. When it's daytime, I guess I can make that work. Gotta sell some of this stuff off. Welcome to Markarth.
Been a journey home? Oh, this pendant is probably on my sister.
I'll let you live this time.
I'd die for my...
You just saved somebody from getting killed.
We'll handle things from here. Move along. I said move along. The Forsworn are just a bunch. That's right. It isn't. Until next time.
By the gods, that man nearly killed me.
Here in the city.
You saved my life. Thank you. Here. I was gonna bring this to my sister, but I think you should have it.
Silver emerald necklace.
I've heard of them. I'm sorry. I don't... No. I don't have any idea.
Gods.
I was just
A woman
shopping for a
attacked
pendant
right on
for
the
my
streets.
sister back in the Imperial
You all
City.
right? Did you see what happened? I'm so sorry. Oh, I think you dropped this. Some kind of note. My note? No, that's yours. Must have fallen. No. I was just getting some fresh air.
Bunch of
I
intrigue.
had one too many
Side
pints of
mission.
weed at Silver Blood Inn.
Not my concern right now.
Hear all that noise outside?
Need to get going. What is it?
Just the market rabble. We should get back to work. You there, if you're here to trade, step up to the counter.
I am.
Lisbeth handles the customers. I just check the shipments.
No, I'm not Arnleif. Yes, I know it's called
It's all
Arnleif
blurry
and
because
Sons.
I'm so exhausted. I need sleep.
Oh, by the divines, is it that obvious? I swear, if my Gunnar was alive to see me now. This store would finally be on its feet if I hadn't lost my last shipment to the Forsworn attacks. A specially made Bella statuette. You aren't for hire, are you? A sellsword? I'll pay you if you can recover
Sellsword?
that statuette from the Forsworn.
Love that language.
Thank you. I'll have a sum of gold waiting for you when you return. I inherited the store from my husband. His father was Arnleif. My husband, Gunnar, died about 5 years ago. Forsworn attack. I miss that stubborn oaf. No, as if trade wasn't poor enough. Now there's violence in the streets. It was the Forsworn, wasn't it? I lose dozens of shipments every season to those barbarians. Now they're in the city? Gods help us.
Wow, I've been playing this for a while.
Some may call this junk. Me, I call them treasures.
This is just the first game that was downloaded today, so that's the only reason why I'm playing this. Sell it! I'm tired of carrying around all this extra weight. I got plenty of steel arrows. It's not worth anything, but I got rid of them. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Even though I could make it into jewelry, right now I'm just trying to trim the fat. Not that those gemstones weighed anything, so it was probably stupid to sell it, but they're gone. Too late to do anything about it now. I gotta get to a forge. Luckily I'm in a town where there's plenty of forges, or blacksmith things.
Come back whenever you need something.
So I gotta sleep, so we gotta get to the inn. I'll worry about everything else later. Probably where I'm gonna stop.
Come on in. The Silverblood Inn has plenty of strong drink and clean rooms. Another drink, Kosnak? A porter with Arnulf and Sons deserves nothing but the finest here.
My parents are always going at each other.
This is the Silverblood. Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
I'll show you to your room. Cleaning up spills, and there is fresh linen for the rooms.
It's an end to the evil of all Skyrim's foes.
See, you don't even need
Let me know if
these
there's anything else.
in the regular game without the survival stuff.
Maybe later.
So I never have to rent rooms because you never get tired, you never get worn out. It's 11 a.m. It's a poor time to go to sleep, but I need some sleep. I'll get some sleep. Please don't tell me you need a full 8 hours. What is wrong with the rest of that, though? Hunger! Yeah, I'm famished. I need food. So there's something else I can get here.
How are your chores coming, my son?
What do you have for sale?
Let's sate that appetite,
Butter. Cooked pogfish. Porker loaf. It's lightweight.
But Mother says you're a terrible innkeeper.
Yes? What can I do for you? Don't mind the yelling. My parents are always going at each other.
Can't cook for myself.
I'm
More
what you
stags,
call
a cell
soldier
sword.
of fortune. Make me an offer, and I just might fight it
Bard.
There's no shipments coming in, so I do. You a fighting gal? How about a little bet?
No.
Alms. I said alms. Finally. Now get lost. All that. Not even for a look, but they've got a treasure in there. Gold stack.
He wants me to steal a treasure of Debella from the Temple of Debella. I got my rest.
My mother and father yell a
Got
lot.
my food.
Always have.
I bought my food. I didn't actually eat it. Still hungry. There we go. Alright, I don't want to go that way because it's going to trigger something. So this is the other town that has 2 forges. There's a forge there, or it only has 1 forge, I guess. It's really one inside, but there's a couple of blacksmiths. That's what I meant to say.
What is that? Call it an allegiance. Call it peace. Look how brittle the metal is.
I'm sorry. I just... Well, the forge gets so hot and
You thought what? You would skip a step, knocking the metal all the way through? Now do it again.
Not worth it. I need the jewelry. Okay, it's good use of my iron though is to get ready to build a house by building hinges, iron fittings, locks, and nails, which will also give me lots of experience. Build up.
I'm Boris's assistant. I help her.
Don't bother. Pass it.
She's gonna tell me to go get a book.
Find a book called The Last Scabbard of Actors. Could you bring it? Thanks.
Another side quest. Training
It's an
and
honorable
smithing.
craft. I'll show you what I
Well,
can.
now that I have some money, got some training.
handle things from here.
Guard
Move
tower.
along.
Overview of the area. There's some stuff up above too. Up here. Some guards like to have a little
Let me
drink
guess.
every now and
You need
again.
a drink. Is the silver part in?
So here's the Temple of Dibella. No need to go there right now. There's a way to get there later on, which is more fun. Down here, Temple of Shrine of Talos, I guess is
You
there.
don't know anything about this house? No.
Anyone seen injury or leaving? Strange lights or unusual noise?
Treasury House.
It's abandoned.
Miners.
It's always been abandoned.
Money. Endon's house. Nepos the Nose's house.
Out of my way. Why are you bothering me,
It was
kinsman?
Quintilius, who's eventually going to be a fence.
That's about... And once you've had your fill of mead, do us all a favor and go home. Markarth has enough trouble. Bother someone else.
Up here is your potential home, Vindrel Hall. It's a nice spire.
Bloody enough for you, outsider? Then turn around and go back where you came. Blood and silver are what flows through Markarth. That's the way it is.
Blood and
That's the
silver.
way it's right there. They have a whole mine. I work for them. The inn is named after them. When the guards make an arrest, they check with them first. Yeah.
Understone Keep.
What are you hiding, priest?
I'm not hiding anything. It's closed for a reason.
Halt. The Dwemer Museum isn't open to anyone without the court wizard's permission. Because Calcelmo doesn't want anyone to go in. He runs the museum. You have a problem with that? Go talk to him. You'll find him in front of the ruins during the day, just down the... What are you hiding, priest? You're here to see the yard.
I'm not hiding anything. It's
Sudden
closed for a
moves.
reason.
Understand?
What are you doing here? The excavation site is closed. I don't need any more workers or guards. Lechuan Zell? The ruins underneath Markarth? The wealth of artifacts that I've based 2 human lifetimes of research on? You idiot! Do you even know who I am? The most recognized scholar on the Dwemer in all of Tamriel. And you people keep bothering me. I'm sorry, I got too excited. I'm in the middle of some very stressful work, and I shouldn't have yelled. How can I help you? Correct. It's a private place where I can catalog my research. Occasionally, the Jarl will come in and have questions, but that's thankfully rare. I'll let you in if you agree to something for me. There's a giant spider in the Zell. My workers call her Nimhi, the poisoned one. If you deal with Nimhi, I'll let you into both the excavation site and my Dwemer Museum.
Side quest.
Enthusiasm. Good. Here's the key to the spells and incantations for those with the talent to cast them.
So he sells scrolls, he sells robes, and other magic things that magic users would use, like necklaces and rings and hoods. Sells an assortment of books. Some of them, in his case, he's selling the Dwemer stuff, which is dwarves. But he also will sell spell tomes in abundance, because he's the court wizard. He actually has a really good selection in terms of number. And you can get soul gems from them. That's essentially all they barter with. So, in terms of stuff that you can sell him, things that fall under books and miscellaneous.
What? Oh, goodbye.
I'm Calcelmo's nephew. I help him around the lab.
Arcane Enchanter you can use to make magic items, but I don't really. Well, you can also disenchant magical items and learn their effects. I don't have any. But if I wanted to give a magical enhancement to one of these permanently, then you could put that in there, give it an enchantment that you know, put in a soul gem, the bigger the better, and it'll turn it into a magic item. Also works with clothing, armor, rings, necklaces, and all weapons.
Old dwarven city underneath the keep. The Schuhen said. Best to see every day.
Then the court has its own blacksmith on hire inside.
I'm the Jarl's personal blacksmith. But that doesn't mean I can't sell you a few pieces for a fair price. Blades, helmets, pretty much
So if you
anything.
can't find what you're looking for out there, maybe he'll have it. There's also a separate person you can sell to. So if the other smith doesn't have the coin, maybe he will. She lives in here, so when she closes up her shop, she comes up here to sleep. This guy is actually awake all the time. He's always available. I think they said that originally he was supposed to have a day-night cycle like everybody else, where he goes to bed. But
my concern.
So unless they fix that with an update, the other bedrooms are up in there.
The Dominion is here.
Alteration magic on it. Y'all married Dominion are here in force.
As his housecarl,
Jarl
Iglin's
Igmund.
security is my chief concern.
And if you know, you know. So, 3 coins. There we go. Iron Greatsword of Sparks. More coins. Silver Guarded Ring. But once you've stolen something, expect to be attacked sometime out in the wilderness. They always find out. You'll never get a negative response from the person you stole from, but you will get some kind of a bounty hunter coming out there that wants to make an example of you, and they will attack you because you stole from them. And you'll find a note on them telling them exactly why.
Before you say anything, take a look.
Cook. Again, this is somebody I would never interact with, except that now that I have to eat all the damn time, plus you can get some rare wines from him. I'm not going to particularly spend 116, right? Or the Argonian blood wine, which is 290, because I don't have the money to. But if you also have food, you can always sell the excess food that you can't seem to find a way to cook. Buy something that's already cooked. So the next time you get hunger pains. Sweet roll.
All right then.
Don't mind the dogs. They get anxious when they haven't had dinner.
I have to work, or Anton will rip my
You
head
should
off.
talk to Ant. And if you need anything, he's the master chef.
The Jarl gives... No, I don't... What have I done for the gods to... Yes, that is where I learned to cook, and where I belong. Not
All right.
here with all these dogs.
Dogs. I think about... See, she's going to bed.
Don't
So's her
follow his
apprentice.
Useless.
Good boy, damn. One of the Silver Blood. Leader of the Silver Blood standing there. If you change leadership in this place, he's the one that takes over, and he's an ass. This is one of the few places where I wish the Empire would stay in charge. Because the Imperial ruler is easier to work with. He's not such an asshole. And with that, I think I'm going to call it. I've been playing this for quite a while. I could show you a lot of stuff. For me, none of this is new. The only stuff that's new I haven't done yet, which is probably why I should record some things that are new, like I should go out fishing, or I should find out more about the other DLCs that are in here. But we'll see. Maybe in the future.
We'll handle things from here.
Maybe this next coming week, maybe I will record more stuff. But for now, I think I'm gonna call that. I'm gonna quit. If I can figure out how. Nope. There we go. I'm gonna save the game. Because I'm actually getting tired myself. So, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up or give me some comments. I'd love to hear some feedback.